Okay, I think I'm good. Yeah, that's better. Okay. All right, y'all. Yo, thank y'all for tuning and tapping in. We got another great episode. This is episode 287. So let's get the show started. What's good, y'all? What's good, y'all? What's good, y'all? What's great? Thank y'all for tuning in to another episode of Can the Brothers Get a Rap podcast. I'm your host, Ashley Lovechild. And again, I want to thank y'all for tuning and tapping into this special 287th episode. We're live every Sunday, every Wednesday. And again, I want to thank y'all for y'all support. We on the road to 20,000 subscribers. We really want to get to that 100,000. I would love to see that YouTube plaque in the back, but we at 14,000 subscribers, and I couldn't thank you enough for all the support thus far, and the best is still yet to come. Also, I want to thank the presenting sponsor of this podcast, which is Button Snaps, where you get the finest of movies, shows, documentaries, and original content for your viewing pleasure of $4.99. Shout out to the chat in here supporting. Stay engaged in the chat. Major love to the chat. You already know how we do. Hit them likes, hit the 100s, hit them hearts, hit the 100s in the chat. It does help with the growth of the show, and we continue to grow each and every pod. So again, I thank y'all for y'all support. Shout out to some of the people in the chat, man. Major love in the chat, man. Shout out to Shay in the chat. Appreciate you for tapping in, Shay. Shout out to Alana in the chat. Appreciate you as well. Shout out to Ebony. We got a lot of day one. Shout out to Hazel in the building. Shout out to Tremont in the building. Shout out to King Pete, big badge holder. Had his badge for over 2 years straight. So shout out to King Pete. Shout out to the dog Tom in the building. Appreciate you as always, man. Make sure again you gotta hit them likes, hit them 100s, hit them hearts. It definitely helps with the engagement of the show. Share the live as well. Again, I appreciate y'all as always. Super duper amazing. Remember, y'all, do not be an agent of chaos. Do not be a stain. Lose that Willie Lynch mindset. Lose that it can only be one mindset. The only op we recognize over here is opportunity. Hate has a location. It's just not here. So again, I appreciate y'all as always for showing major love in the chat. I feel like I'm forgetting one last thing. All right, so let's move on. Let's get the show started. Y'all already know first segment of the night, popular opinions. This segment is brought to you by OUV Records. Make sure y'all go to Instagram at OUV Records. Stay in tune to the latest music and merchandise. The label motto is create, document, and inspire. So again, make sure y'all stay tuned to OUV Records at Instagram. All right, y'all, first question of the night. Y'all already know popular opinions. Remember, y'all, these are not my questions. These are the world's questions. So stick to the answers in the questions. All right. This is the fun one right here, especially for all my old schools. You know what I'm saying? Best go-to sandwich on this list. Best go-to sandwich on this list. Number one, peanut butter and jelly. Number two, grilled cheese. Number three, tuna. Number four, a BLT. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Again, let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Best go-to sandwich on this list. Best go-to sandwich on this list. Number one, peanut butter and jelly. Number two, grilled cheese. Number three, tuna. Number four, BLT, bacon, lettuce, and tomatoes. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. A real fun question for everybody. You know what I'm saying? A little softball question out there. All of these sandwiches, you know, at some point in time is a good time. Me personally, it don't get no better than a PB&J. Peanut butter and jelly, ain't nothing better than that. Me personally. That's just me personally. Peanut butter and jelly has always been a good time growing up. And you know what I'm saying? It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Just a good time right there. Or tuna. Tuna used to hit on a whole nother level. But I had to get mine specially made. You know what I'm saying? But tuna used to hit on a whole nother level. I couldn't have the egg in the tuna. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. So Me personally, I'm going with PB&J. Uh, in the chat, I'm seeing grilled cheese in the chat. Y'all going with grilled cheese in the chat? For real? Is grilled cheese is hitting like that? Grilled cheese is on a whole nother level like that. Shout out to Tom. He said a BLT sandwich with turkey slices. It was ridiculous with avocado. Mouth watering right now. Pause. Right, just thinking about certain things. I'm like, damn, that sounds kind of good right now. The BLT for me back in the day wasn't nothing like the BLT sandwich. What? Shout out to Ebony. Grilled cheese is the most versatile option here. Yo, yeah, I knew this was gonna be a fun question because y'all going in on the answers. You know what I'm saying? Uh, he said grilled cheese. She said grilled cheese. Uh, is the most versatile one here. You can use cheddar, Gouda, not the Gouda. You know what I'm saying? Sourdough. Add bacon or keep it classic. PB&J can't compete with that. Come on, like PB&J on a whole nother level. Y'all funny. Y'all funny. And I can tell, cause y'all really describing what's going on right here. No, grilled cheese was amazing with that government cheese back. Yeah, I ain't gonna hold you. Back in the day, if you know, you got the block of government cheese looked like two bricks like mashed together. That's how big it was, and you had to get them with the thinnest. Like you gotta try to get them super thin. But no matter how thin you got them, it always had the plastic around it. You know what I'm saying? Yo, we didn't grow up with much. You know what I'm saying? We didn't grow up with much. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my parents. You know, they created opportunities, but yo, you know what I'm saying? It gave us that hunger we needed to survive in life. You know what I mean? That was a whole nother time with the grilled cheese. You know what I'm saying? He said it was amazing, that government cheese back in the day. I can't lie. You lucky you didn't put the bologna up there. A grilled cheese with smoked Gouda is. Yo, he said the grilled cheese with the Gouda is phenomenal. Yo, he didn't say it was good. Bro said it was phenomenal. Yo, shout out to my dog Tom, always keeping it a buck. He didn't say it was good. He said it was phenomenal. Do you know how excellent something has to be for you to describe it as phenomenal? Damn. Yo, I ain't gonna hold you. Back in the day, these sandwiches was on a whole nother level. I'm not gonna hold you. I'm still going with PB&J, and tuna is in my second. But y'all, I'm seeing BLT. I'm seeing grilled cheese. Grilled cheese and BLT is running it right now. Yo, I knew this was gonna be such a fun question to pick, but y'all are going in, and I love it. I love it because it takes you back. You know what I'm saying? It takes you back to that spot. You know what I mean? And see, the crazy thing is too, when you grow up in New York City, this whole chopped cheese and that's new terminology. That's more so like Bronx terminology. That's not New York. That's not a New York universal thing in New York. The chopped cheese, like chopped cheese is a new thing. Like growing up, we didn't order no chopped cheese. These were the things that we got at the local store. This was it. This was what's hitting. Of course, bacon, egg, and cheese, but out of this right here is what we were getting from the store. Chopped cheese, we never. That's an internet thing about New York City. Chopped cheese, bodegas. New Yorkers don't even describe stores in New York as bodegas. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's again some Hollywood talk type of thing. All right, so again, I went with PB&J. The question was best go-to sandwich on this list. I went with PB&J. The chat went with grilled cheese and BLT, undoubtedly. The rest of the world, mind you, 19,000 people voted on this. 39% went with BLT. Yo, it went with the BLT. Wow, that's lit. Went with the BLT. My dog Tom, actually, we were so creative back in the days. Only reason why I didn't eat peanut butter and jelly sandwich was because the only bread that was left in the bread was in the bread bag was the butt of the bread. That used to be the worst. If you ever had a loaf of bread, it was nothing worse than the ass of the bread, bro. It was nothing worse. You did not want to be left with the ass of the bread and that very first slice of the bread. Now, the first slice of the bread is like, if I toast this up and hit the edges, I can make me some toast with that. But when you get the ass of the bread, you can't do nothing with that. That shit's like a fuzzball. That shit was the worst. Oh my God, that was the worst. You can't even make good toast with the ass of the bread. That was the worst. Growing up, we really grew up with the meatball paws, and then we had Joe's famous steaks and cheese, where the sliced steak right there, right in front of you, and then they cooked it right in front of you. That's a fact. That's a fact. That's what we watch people make our food. That's a fact. That is a fact. And you had to go to different stores. Like most, I might sound crazy when I say this. Most of us in our neighborhoods, we had 3 corner stores, right? You had Poppy, you had Ahmed, and you had the Jamaican spot. Now the Jamaican spot is probably the spot where they're gonna have the least amount of stuff, but they always come in clutch. They're gonna have great ices, great ice cream. They're gonna be kind of low on the bread, but they might have some milk. You know what I'm saying? And the milk gonna be decent price. Poppy got everything fresh. You get the cold cuts, you get the chips, you get the good chocolates. You know what I'm saying? The soda, you get all that from Poppy, right? Ahmed, a good time too. Ahmed, good time too. Fresh. It's gonna be fresh, but you kind of gotta watch Ahmed. You know what I'm saying? You gotta watch him a little bit. He like if he could sneak you with the bad piece, he gonna sneak you with the bad piece. But if you watch him, like yo, give me that one. Like stop playing. He'll give you that one. You know what I'm saying? And that was universal in New York City. We didn't know about chopped cheese, so we went to New York with our cousins, lived in Brooklyn, and they took us out to the Bronx. Shout out to Queens. Yeah, like all that other stuff, that's like Hollywood talk for New York. Yeah, chopped cheese and bodega. Yeah, that's Hollywood talk. People don't speak like that in New York City. Shout out to my dog CC in the building. You already know one of our day one. CC, make sure you hit them likes, hit the 100s. It helps with the growth of the show. Ash, remember the last live Wednesday we already hit. Didn't I say this before, CC? I said this. I'll say, yo, when we do lives on Sunday, Wednesday come like that. And then when you think of Wednesday, and I say, I'm going to see y'all Sunday, and it be like, oh, all right, we got a little time. And Sunday be here like that. Like, it really comes quick. Like, it's crazy. That time is flying. Shout out to Cece. He remember I said that. I was like, yo, I'm going to see y'all tomorrow. And y'all was like, yo, what you mean? Like, you going to be on Wednesday? Like, yo, it's going to be here before you know it, baby. Yeah, that is a fact. All right, y'all, moving on to our next popular opinion question. Movie edition. Movie edition. You can only save one. You can only save one. Number 1, Raheem from Juice. Number 2, G-Baby from Hardball. Number 3, Ricky from Boys in the Hood. Number 4, Little Saint from You Got Served. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Again, let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Movie edition. You can only save one. Number 1, Raheem from Juice. Number 2, G-Baby from Hardball. Number 3, Ricky from Boys in the Hood. Number 4, Little Saint from You Got Served. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Again, let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Me personally, all these movie deaths, hit differently for me. I'm not gonna hold you. Raheem from Juice was sad, even though he was up on bullshit. Let's keep it real. Raheem was up on bullshit. He robbing old man Quiles. You know what I'm saying? So he was up on bullshit. He thought he had him an easy Vic. He needed some bread. His girl left him, and he needed to get some motion. Raheem had enough talent to do something better than that. You know what I'm saying? He took penitentiary chances, lost his life because, you know, Tupac was a weirdo, right? G Baby. I think G Baby is probably the most victim-like out of all of this because he was a kid, right? He didn't get a chance to grow up to be bad or do anything crazy. He was just a little kid playing, you know, playing baseball with his older brother, and you know they having themselves a grand old time. Ricky from Boys in the Hood was very sad too. Ricky, he was a good kid. I ain't gonna hold you. You couldn't be a punk walking around Compton, and around that time ain't nothing but gangsters. Like you can't be soft. You can't let people bump you and let them think it's cool. So he wasn't a bad guy neither. You know what I'm saying? So Ricky, and then Little Saint, again another little kid, very victim like. But I ain't gonna hold you. They didn't show Little Saint enough in the movie for me to be like, damn, like, yo, Little Saint, like, yo, bring back Little Saint. And I'm seeing y'all in the chat talking about Little Saint. Shout out to Evie. She said Little Saint. So right now I'm seeing Little Saint. I'm seeing Raheem in the chat. I'm seeing Ricky in the chat. They said, bring back Little Saint. Ricky, I'm definitely saving Ricky because Ricky could have been in the pros and changed everybody's life. That is a fact, though. That is a fact. They saying, damn Ash, you know that question is not, that's not a fair question. And he laughing. Shout out to my dog CC. I'm saying though, out of everybody here, I described how everything went. I'm gonna have to go with Ricky too. I'm gonna have to go with Ricky too, mainly because Little Saint was bad as hell, from basically what we said, right? So the chances that he would have grew up to be a menace, it's kind of high. You know what I'm saying? Like, keep it a buck. Raheem, again, like I told y'all, he out here robbing old man Quiles, and we don't know how far he was willing to go after that. G Baby, little kid, innocent, playing little league baseball. But you remember, he was friends with, you know, with other kids that's a little older than him, and everybody in their neighborhood joined the gang immediately. So the chances are it was kind of high. They all could have been menaces, but Ricky was actually getting out the hood. Like, you know what I'm saying? He had him a kid. He loved the ladies. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Had him a kid. And he was basically on his way out. So he wasn't a menace or nothing like that. So I'm going to go with Ricky on this one. I'm going with Ricky on this one, y'all. I'll go with Ricky. The chat, I seen y'all say Little Saint. I seen y'all say Ricky on this one. They say Ricky or Raheem. That's a toss-up. Ricky had the best outcome on life. Let's say the other three did stay alive. Where would they be? That's how I'm thinking about it. It's just like you know what I mean? Like we actually seen Ricky becoming not an adult, but like, you know, he was on, you know, coming of age. He was a teenager, 17, 18, and he was about to, you know, go to college. So I'm going with Ricky on this one too. In the chat, like I said, I seen Ricky, I seen Raheem, and I also seen Little Saint. Nobody said G Baby, which is surprising. But 39%, 37,000 people voted on this, y'all. Said and went with, 39% went with G Baby and the movie Hardball. I'm kind of not surprised because that movie is super sad on that particular part. But again, yo, he grew up in a rough neighborhood, yo. He just needed 3 more years. You know what I'm saying? Wasn't Michael B. Jordan in that movie and he was like their best friend? And they was trying to walk into the building and Michael B. Jordan looked at them like, yeah, nah, like this not a good time to talk or chop it up. None of that. We're about to get to some foolishness. So I'm just saying, Ricky, I think Ricky should have won this. Because we seen what Ricky was becoming. You know what I'm saying? Moms gave him preferential treatment, you know, had him in-house, you know, loving, had his kid, you know what I'm saying, about to go into college. You feel me? Actually, a lot of people always want to see the bad guy win. That's a fact. That's a fact. I mean, but G Baby wasn't a bad kid. It's just the chances that he could have been a bad kid was very high, though. And I see Raheem. I can't give you Raheem, even though that was sad because my boy Raheem had wild leadership potential. But you try to rob old man Quillaz. I can't let that go. You know what I'm saying? And you gave the nut the gun. You gave the nut the gun. So even though he was a good leader, he showed bad leadership by delegating the gun. Like you gotta, you know what I'm saying? You can't let a guy like Bishop have the gun. You know what I'm saying? Actually, a lot of people put themselves in G Baby's position, and a lot of women identify themselves dealing with G Baby's. I'm just keeping it real. Bro, you got to point to that. I'm not even going to debate that. You got to point to that. You got to point to that, and you saying that that's why most people voted for G Baby. Yo, that is funny, man. That is funny. I ain't gonna hurt you. It did hurt when Raheem did go though, because Raheem reminds you of like your big brother, especially at that time. He captured that essence, but I'm definitely going with Ricky on this one. You know what I'm saying? Ricky had a hard day. Like Ricky was just chilling on the couch, you know what I'm saying, looking at the army brochures and commercials, and he just wanted an opportunity, you know what I'm saying? Just wanted to enjoy a little whole donut. And he got this dude on his back, you know what I'm saying? So all right, y'all, moving on to our next segment. Y'all already know our barbershop talk. Our barbershop talk for this episode is question: Dirty Mackin' or nah? Dirty Mackin' or nah? Dirty Mackin' or nah? 49ers owner Jed York, 49ers owner Jed York responded to a prostitution website and arranged $140 sexual encounter before being arrested upon arrival at a mobile home in East Palestine, Ohio. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Again, let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Shout out to Tom. He said Raheem. And I'm going to keep it 1,000. I was sitting next to my sisters when I was watching Juice. He said she watching Juice. She said he's so fine, but they said what you said. Why the hell did they give Tupac the gun? For poor judgment, but he's supposed to be a good leader, right? But it's poor judgment, you know what I'm saying? So, hey man, you know what I'm saying? Hey man, for real. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Again, barbershop talk, Dirty Mackin' or nah? Again, 49ers, the owner of the 49ers, Jed York, responded to a prostitution website and arranged a $140 sexual encounter before being arrested upon arrival at a mobile home in East Palestine, Ohio. Again, let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Again, let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Me personally, like I'm gonna keep it a buck. Whatever you do without money, you're gonna do with money. Did that land? Whatever you do without money is what you're gonna do with money. So there's like several levels to this, right? So immediately people want to say, why was he there at a mobile home in East Palestine, Ohio, trying to get some bunge nuns? One, because he's busy. Two, because that's where he's at. And number three, it's accessible right now. Did that make sense? He's busy. That's accessible. And he could get that right now. That's where he's at. And what that means is that most men who have acquired a certain amount of wealth, it's all about what's available at that point in time. I want what I want when I want it. I want what I want when I want it. Has nothing to do with the fact that it's a mobile home. It has nothing to do with the fact it was $140. It was the fact that it was convenient. I'm here right now, and I can go get this right now. Most men who are successful financially, they want what they want when they want it. It's just that simple. That's the part of the mindset on how they became successful. Like rules and time, they don't care about none of that. I'm here for a good time, not a long time. I'm here for an experience. I want when I want it. People are like, yo, $140 though. That sounds crazy. Like, how you a billionaire and trying to haggle $140? How do you think people have money? I think people have money by spending money. You think people become billionaires by just because they have it that they go spend it? No, they keep it super duper frugal. That's how you get your money. Keep everything cheap, cheap. I don't know what it is about our culture that we think people with the most money spend the most money on things when they don't. They not the ones in the Hermes store, in the Gucci store, in the Louis Vuitton store. It's not them. It's not them. They're not buying the $1 million watches, the super duper $1 million earrings. It's not them. They don't do that. They don't spend their money on things when they know the value of it because it's on them. If a billionaire wears a suit, you can't tell if his suit is worth $100 or $100,000. You can't tell. All you know is that this billionaire have a suit, and you're going to assume that that's $100. So with this case in point, he wanted what he wanted when he wanted it. Okay, some bunions down yonder. I'm here. I could go on a little creep tip, and I could do my thug dizzle. When people say, how did he end up there? That's how he ended up there. He's in Ohio. And he looking for a good time, not a long time. A short stay for the play. That's what he was doing. So when people is like, yo, he could have did better, this, that, and the third. Very true. He could have smoothed that out better. You would think somebody with $1 billion, have a few women on the payroll that either travel with them and, you know, or they buy coastal, you know what I mean? And they come in, they do their thing. It's a safer time, safer play. But also, some men like it sleazy. The sleazier, the better. I got a homeboy, I'm not calling his name, I'm not going to say his name, but any time we went to like a high class strip club, he like, nah, like this ain't it. Where the girls look nice and the place is nice, and it's like, wow, it's a nice place, and they got nice strip music, the music is popping, and they got nice looking women. Nah. He invited me to all the hole in the walls, and all the hole in the walls, he like, yo, bro, you gotta be here tonight. And what the people don't know about the hole in the wall, in New York City, people would, let's say, get a basement of some sort, of an empty space, and just have strippers come through there, bullet holes and scars and tiger marks and all that. And that's right up his alley. And when I go up in there and I see the girls, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna go. And he like, what you mean? Like, this popping in here, baby. I'm like, dog, she looked like Dazzler from Street Fighter, bro. Like, this not my type of kick. You know what I'm saying? It's time for me to get up out of here. You know what I'm saying? But he would love that. That's his type of thing. So I'm making a point to say some men like it sleazy. That's just up their alley. So at the end of the day, that's just his taste. $140. He a billionaire. That's not a big deal because, like I said, he ain't become a billionaire by blowing money. You can't regulate what other people's prices are just because they charge a certain price. You're going to try to get the cheap for a little creep, and you're going to go crazy and you're going to get up out of there. That's what that's supposed to be like. And believe it or not, this happens all the time. We looked at Robert Kraft not too long ago, the owner for the New England Patriots. He was caught up in a little massage parlor where they did a little bit more than relaxed toes, if you catch my drift. So at the end of the day, it is what it is. Some guys like stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Some guys like a good time and not a long time. And they don't care where they get it, just long as it's convenient, it's quiet, they had their fun, and they get up out of there. Even billionaires too. So that's why I started off by saying, the person that you are without money, you same person with the money. You just more of it. That's it. So for those who giving Jed York a hard time for rolling up $140 prostitute, you know what I'm saying, for a little good time, hey man, hey, it's a part of the play. I'm just saying. Shout out to somebody, comment got deleted. I didn't delete the comment, but somebody comment got deleted. YouTube deleted that, or it got retracted. Shout out to my dog Tom. Shout out to Ebony. Shout out to Tom. So let me go back. So shout out to Tom. He said East Palestine, Ohio. Really nothing happens to these dudes that are billionaires, owners. You remember Robert Kraft got caught. So we, yo, Tom, we on the same type of time. You know what I'm saying? Me and my dog Tom was on the same type of time. I love that. You know what I mean? On the same type of time. Ebony, a billionaire driving out to Ohio trailer park at 9 a.m. Damn, you got the time? Or at 9 a.m. on a Sunday for $140 cash is a level of fugal I just don't think exists anymore. Fugal that I just don't think exists. It's the price of the price. You know what I'm saying? You got that cash. You know what I'm saying? And if you're a billionaire, how much cash do you really like? How much of an asshole you have to be, and you're a billionaire, and you keep $1 million cash on you? Yeah, nah. Let me get the $100,000 sex worker. Nah, I got 140 on me. You know what I'm saying? Work with me, man. Work with me. You know what I'm saying? Work with me. You know what I'm saying? I'm only in town for about another 10 minutes. You know what I'm saying? Work with me, man. You know what I'm saying? Y'all are funny in the chat, man. Bill Gates. What he said? Bill Gates. Hello, I missed that. Hold on. Bill Gates shops at Target, at Walmart. You think Bill Gates? He's a billionaire. Men are paying money for Gucci product only time. You probably see them with that stuff on it. It's an award show. On that stuff, with that stuff on is at an award show. Yes. And even when they at an award show, like, let's keep it real. If you, they have to tell you that they have a Tom Ford suit. You see what I'm saying? Like a lot. If you could go to Portobello. You know what I'm saying? Right now, get you a nice new suit and have them in there in Portobello, like, cut your joint. And it won't look Tom Ford, but it will look Tom Ford-ish, especially if it's on Bill Gates, because he's a billionaire. So we're just going to assume it's $100,000 suit, right? So either way, my dog Patrick, one of my dogs in the building, Patrick in the building. What up, my dude? Hit them likes, hit them 100s pack. It helps with the growth of the show, man. Appreciate you as always. One of our day ones, one of our mods. So make sure y'all talk to me nice. Number 47 in the White House, he do this thing and get away with it. You don't think these billionaires are going to get away with it? That's a fact. That's a fact. Shout out to Jamar. Appreciate Jamar for tapping in. That is fast as I can get it. Shout out to Jamar for tapping in. Appreciate you for tapping in. Again, hit them likes, hit the 100, y'all. It definitely helps with the growth of the show. We're on the road to 20,000 subscribers. We're a little over 14. So again, hit them likes, hit the 100, share the live. And I appreciate y'all helping out with the growth of the show. We speak about everything. If this is your first time tuning in and tapping in. Again, I'm Ashley Lovechild, Can the Brothers Get a Rap podcast, where we do talk about everything here. We talk about everything. I mean everything here. And we have a damn good time. doing it as well, as y'all can see. But again, I don't fault Jed York really for doing what he was doing, because let's also keep this real too. Like, certain dudes, they play at the bottom of the barrel. Some dudes play at the bottom of the barrel. Some dudes play at the top of the top. And it is what it is. And wherever you fall as a man, you already know where you fall as a man. And you're going to go eat. You're going to go eat. And that has to sit on y'all spirit. I might be speaking in code a little bit, but all the men understand what I'm saying. You're going to go eat. Wherever you fall in the totem pole, you're going to go eat. So $1 billion don't, and I don't want to call him a lame, but, you know, $1 billion don't unlame a lame. Straight like that. Straight like that. So it is what it is. And I don't know him to call him a lame. I'm just saying, like, men gonna eat wherever they gonna be at. They gonna eat. That's all. That's all to it. All right, y'all. Moving on to our next segment. Y'all know I premiere artists each and every episode, whether they're brand new, whether they're veteran artists, whether they're mainstream, underground, independent. Everybody's basically independent at this point, but y'all get the point that I'm making. But you know, for conversation's sake, I premiere artists regardless of genre, and I give 3 Michael Jackson awards to their 3 fire music. So my premiere artist tonight, OG R&B singer Glenn Jones. Make sure y'all put these 3 songs on y'all playlist again, where we recognize his excellence, showmanship, and performance. So my first Michael Jackson award goes to Glenn Jones' song, We've Only Just Begun. Fire classic song. I know y'all probably heard it a million times, but y'all probably didn't know Glenn Jones sung the song. Second Michael Jackson award goes to, again, Glenn Jones. Keep On Doing. Fire song. Make sure y'all put that on your playlist. And my third Michael Jackson song goes to I've Been Searching. Again, all by Glenn Jones. So those are my 3 Michael Jackson awards by Glenn Jones. Put those 3 songs on your playlist. Fire music. Again, We've Only Just Begun, Keep On Doing, and I've Been Searching. So make sure y'all put those 3 songs on your playlist, again, by Glenn Jones. Shout out to my dog Keith's on the build. Appreciate you for tapping in. Bro is worth billions, but haggling for 140 encounter in East Palestine. Yo, y'all going in with the location. The salary cap adjustment are getting out of hand. Nah, I can't blame them. The cost is the cost. Like people think because somebody got more money that their price should change. The price is the price. The price is the price. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my dog Tom. We only just begun. The romance is over. I've got a lot of love to give. What? That song hit different. You know what I'm saying? That song hit different. That's a next level song right there. Next level. All right, y'all. Moving on to our next segment. Hey, y'all already know we're about to get on that flight and send them the turkey or no. Send them the turkey or no. Y'all know the rules of the game. We type in T to send it to turkey, or we type in N. We type in N not to send it to turkey. You could put turkey, not turkey, either or. You know, but when people say do crazy things, we either send it to turkey or not send it to turkey. First one in the chat. Shout out to y'all in the chat. And remember, y'all, continue to stay engaged. Hit them likes, hit the 100s. It helps with the growth of the show. All right, first one of the night. A former Duke standout and ex-NBA player Kyle Singler calls out Coach K. He had a video that went viral saying basically that nobody's looking out for him, and that basically he's losing his home. They turn off the power in his home, and he's just, you know, basically walking around. He's saying, I've been calling Coach K, and nobody's trying to help me. So let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Are we sending him to Turkey or no? Are we sending him to Turkey or no? I would love to know what y'all think about this in the chat. Looking at the video, again, it went viral. It's kind of interesting. as we get older and we go through life and we fall on hard times, we have this thing in our community now or in our society now when we blame other people for our hard times and our misfortune, right? Kyle Singler was very decorated, very great player in college, and he made it to the NBA. And he had a chance to really like be a really good player, but in the midst of his quest, he made a lot of good money in his career. It's not like he went broke, just overnight or something like that. Like he made his contracts was pretty substantial, where the money should actually be something that would have changed his life, in my opinion. Not just in my opinion, that's just how the money works. When you make over a certain amount of money and millions after taxes, you should never go broke again. And that's just because I understand money. But I digress. The video in itself, he's placing his misfortune on other people that he feel like should help him in the midst of his misfortune. You can tell that he's clearly affected by something, not just with his judgment, but there's some sort of substance abuse going on. And you can tell based on the way that he talked, he's a little elusive. It's just, you could kind of tell when somebody's going through some things. And you could tell he's at rock bottom-ish. And the reason why I say rock bottom-ish, because he's basically using social media to tell people about his misfortune. And most men don't want to get on social media and tell their misfortune to the world, especially when they've been a superstar athlete. So at the end of the day, is it other people's fault that they haven't came to his rescue or aid? No. I have to be honest. I played a little college football myself. I played a little semi-pro. I played a little junior pro, before I got into music. And I have a lot of friends, a lot of teammates. And I haven't seen a lot of them since I played, and we keep, track of each other through social media. And I will hope that they all doing well. And I'm pretty sure, they see what I'm doing. But at the end of the day, I can't hold any of my teammates, any of my coaches for my misfortunes if I was to have any, or when I had misfortunes. I couldn't blame any of them. I couldn't hold their feet to the fire to help me get back on my feet. I can't sacrifice their space and place with their family and with their own identical things that they got going on in their own lives to come and aid me to uphold me. I can't expect that. Now, it's one thing that somebody come and do it because that's just in their heart to do, but they're doing it without you asking. Now, I'm kind of like that type of person. When people don't ask and I see them going through something, I understand. So I'm like, yo, I'm just going to be active in helping them out. I'm not big on the whole, like, can you do this? It's like, you know what I mean? It's like you're basically asking me to take away from my family to give to you and yours. But when you do have and you can, I understand you helping and giving. There's nothing wrong with helping and giving, because I've helped plenty of people, and majority of the people that I help without them asking, right? Or without them expecting me to help. It's like that thing when somebody like asks you for a little help and they send you their Cash App. It's like, damn, you send me your Cash App, so you was expecting to get this. Like, this wasn't even a real question. So you basically demanded that I help you or whatever the case may be. So in this particular case by itself, this is obviously a cry for help. This is obviously a cry for help. But it also comes off as blaming other people for your misfortune for not coming to your aid, not coming soon enough. Hey, I called him, but he ain't calling me back. And it's basically you're making somebody feel like if they don't help you, you're basically going to unalive yourself, or you're going to be unalive. When you're a product of your own judgment, decisions that you're making, you have to hold accountability for yourself. No matter what your misfortune is, you cannot blame other people for your shit. You can't. One, that's lazy, that's reckless. And when you're a man, as men in our society, whether you're a brother or whether you're a white guy, you're held accountable for your own shit. Now you're a superstar athlete on top of that. Yeah, even having a substance abuse problem, people are not going to be as sympathetic because why? You're a man. We're men. They got homeless shelters and shelters for women all over the place, all through the U.S. For men, there's not many resources for us, purposely, because why? We're men. We can figure it out. We can get it out the mud. And one thing as a man is nothing wrong with asking for help when needing help. There's nothing wrong with that. But there's a problem with blaming other people for not wanting to help you. Because we don't know that he's had a substance abuse problem and some of his money went there and people try to help and intervene. And he was like, man, I'm a grown ass man, dog. You can't tell me what to do. We don't know that was the conversation before that. So as men, we have to take accountability for our shit. A shout out to y'all in the chat. Y'all going crazy in the chat. A shout out to Ro. Yes, sir. Crazy. Shout out to Keesaw. Man, that's heartbreaking to watch. Kyle Singler, the most outstanding player of the 2010 Duke championship run. That's a fact. He was a hell of a player in college. That's a fact. Shout out to Tom. This is why we need our fathers. These brothers can't keep making excuses, making complaints like their mammies. Tough love. It's the best love. Can't be raised like that and want him to be accountable. Facts. It's sad to see Ryan Clark. He should go to Turkey. You have your own show, but you're crying about being on ESPN because you want to feel wanted by a group of people who don't want you and is racist right now. Great point. Shout out to my dog Tom. That's a great point. Shout out to Patrick. Delonte West, ex-NBA player, fell on hard times and finally looked like he's getting his life together. Facts. Again, right? As men, is not shameful for falling on hard times. That's not what I'm saying. That's the shameful part. The shameful part is trying to blame other people for your misfortunes. When you had a hand in it, when you're a grown man, you have to take accountability. We all at some point in time, when things get a little tight financially, and for anybody to tell you otherwise is a straight up bullshit artist. When you see people talk about money and, yeah, I got this and I got that and this and that and third. So you mean to tell me you never fell on hard times as a grown man? I can't relate to you. I can't relate to you. Because a part of being a grown man is understanding and realizing adversity and overcoming adversity. That's what make you and your staying power as a man legit when things are not always easy. That is a very real thing. Overcoming adversity is a part of a man's DNA. Even if you never had no financial worries until you got divorced, where your wife took half your stuff, half the assets, you took on the debt of the marriage, and now you're working with way less, you're paying child support on top of that, and you don't live comfortably. I understand that. But a part of that is being able to overcome that adversity. So him falling on hard times is not the shameful part. The shameful part is, again, blaming other people for your misfortune when you had a hand in it. For facts. Shout out to Tom, Patrick, Ashley. Why would you cry to ESPN when you have your own show? Pivot. That's a fact. That's a fact. Patrick, he said, Tom, I agree. That's a fact. That's an absolute fact. But you got to understand. So, not to segue to Ryan Clark, but I will say this. No matter what you do for yourself, when you think that something validates you and it makes you bigger and better than what you could do for yourself, that's what you lean on. Is that mentality where what I created isn't good enough, even though it served the people. It does what it needs to do. But I need to be a part of this because it validates what I do over here when it really doesn't. What you do over here validates the space over here, which will be considered the ESPN space, right? If you notice, ESPN are bringing in people that are validated by themselves, right? But as y'all saying in the chat, like, yo, y'all feel like he feel, and Brian Clark feels like he needs his validation for ESPN to make pivot what it is, and he really, with if he had a shift in mindset, he would realize he don't need ESPN, but I'm pretty sure he could utilize their resources if they wanted him, if they feel like they seen his value, for sure. For sure. If ESPN came to me tomorrow and say, Ash, we want you to come talk sports. Okay, cool. But guess what? I'm still doing Ken and Brothers Get It Right podcast for a fact. They don't want me tomorrow. If I feel like it's racist and they not jacking me, cool. When y'all let me go, cool. I would not be crying about nothing. Nothing, because I'm so used to the independent. I'm so used to the route that I've been on. But some people see it the way they see it. That's like with a lot of artists. Some artists really fell when the majors are basically not majors anymore. And without that major, without that machine, they don't know how to operate. They don't know how to bring out music. They don't know how to gauge a good song. They don't know how to pick songs because they need that for validation. And they don't even care about the money. They rather be on a label, generate $10 million, be able to receive only $730,000 of that $10 million. And that's before taxes. That's not even after taxes. And this entity or this label validates them. It makes them seem big instead of being independent and being able to do and generate $2 million and to keep 800 or keep a 1.5 of that or 1.2 of that and be able to do more and more moving forward. It's a mind thing. I remember when I started in music, again, I'm not trying to segue, I'm just trying to make a point about validation. A lot of artists around that time needed big labels to validate them. People need that. And then some people see it that way. Yo, when you get big, and the only thing that people think that you're big is if you sign with Diddy, if you sign with Jay, if you sign with 50, if you sign with Rose, if you sign with this or that person, that's what make you popping. But come to find out, some of these people, their contracts wasn't what it's supposed to be. It's that validation. It's that trickery of the mind. So shout out to y'all in the chat. Someone from his inner circle, the Duke family needs to get to Oklahoma and do a welfare check immediately. Yeah, that video did look crazy. Shout out to Keyshaw. That video did look crazy. My pops told me from day one, look, son, you're going to fall, not only fail, but you're going to fall on hard times. That's going to show character, make no excuses, don't complain, and move forward. I love that, which is true. Failure for men is a part of our success story. It's a part of it. We seen the pursuit of happiness, and everything was all cool until it wasn't. And he fell on hard times, and he fell on hard times so long that he could not see the win. And when he focused on one step at a time, he found the win. It's a part of manhood. It's overcoming adversity. What's the average salary for an NFL player on ESPN? Just curious. I'm not sure offhand, but I would think that majority of the average personalities on a ESPN would probably be somewhere between the average salary. I would say will probably anywhere from to be 350 to maybe 500,000. When you start thinking of people like Stephen A. Smith and Pat McAfee, their numbers is astronomical because their personality all on itself, right? So their numbers is probably anywhere from 11 to like 16 million a year. But when you talk about the average anchorman on ESPN, it's probably anywhere from 300 to 500 per person, because The way ESPN looks at it is that, yo, we can replace you. We can replace you. If we move on from you, like ESPN is not defined based on you being here. Stephen A. Smith has been with ESPN for so long. He has so many ridiculous hot takes, and he gets so many views that if he wasn't on ESPN, we would know it, right? It would be like, yo, what happened? Like, why is he not on here? And their numbers would dip. So that's a fact. But again, Kyle Singler, again, I really wish him all the best. I say that sincerely. I hope that he gets the help that he needs. There's nothing wrong with falling on hard times, especially as a grown-ass man. But it's a problem with not taking accountability and blaming other people for not wanting to help you when you needed the help or when you want the help. You can't blame other people for that. Shout out to the chat. He's definitely in the six figures, but you are like Ryan Clark. I can understand why he was crying. He probably making $1 million a year or more. You got to think about it. Yeah, even with Ryan Clark, even if he was making more on ESPN, the fact that he has Pivot and the fact that he was on ESPN, he could still use that to make his money, make a lot of good money. Appearances, shows. Once you have something on your jacket, it does what it needed to do. Him being on an ESPN right now don't up his money. The fact that he said, yo, if you look at his credits, yo, I got the Pivot, I was at ESPN, I was with this, I was with that. That's a part of his credits. That's a part of his money. So he don't necessarily need ESPN, but that's just probably his thought process. I think they're firing people because they thinking Pat McAfee more money. Yeah, Pat McAfee, he killing the game. I ain't gonna hold you. Pat McAfee killing the game. All right, y'all, moving on to our next. Send him the turkey or nah. Send him the turkey or nah. 7 out of the 8 highest paid players on the Miami Dolphins is currently not even on their team. Are we sending the Miami Dolphins to Turkey or not? Are we sending them to Turkey or not? So, for example, they have $179 million in dead cap space. Tua Tagovailoa, I hope I said his name right, he's due to make $55 million this year. He's on the Atlanta Hawks. Atlanta Hawks. He's on the Atlanta Falcons. I said Atlanta Hawks. He's on the Atlanta Falcons. Tyreek Hill, he's a free agent. He's going to make $28 million this year. Jaden Waddle, he's on the Broncos. He's making $23 million this year. Mind you, the Dolphins has to pay them this money even though they play for another team. Jalen Ramsey, $21 million. Well, he getting $20.7 million, but $21 million, rounded up. Minka Fitzpatrick, $13 million. Bradley Chubb on the Bills, $11 million. Terrion Armstead, $10 million. Are we sending this franchise to Turkey or not? Let me know what y'all think about this in the chat. Again, let me know. Yo, y'all cracking up in the chat right now. Y'all cracking up in the chat right now about the damn Dolphins. Y'all are funny. Shout out to y'all in the chat. Y'all are cracking up. You hear me? Shout out to y'all in the chat. Yo, that is funny. Yo, the Dolphins has to be one of the most poorly ran franchises in NFL history. I have them up there with the Jets and the Cleveland Browns. They are a terribly ran organization. And this is what I tell y'all all the time about sports. A lot of these teams don't care about winning. A lot of these teams don't care about winning. This is why my argument about sports, football, basketball is not ran on talent. It's ran on storylines. Yeah, you're going to find guys who can do things physically, but they're not necessarily talented. Because if they was talented, you would see the results on the field. You would see the results on the court. So when owners and these decision makers, they choose guys based on what the storyline is, on what it looks like, or what it feels like. What Cam say in the movie? Damn, I can't think of the movie right now. Not Paid in Full. Oh my God. Killer season. They pick niggas for this shit. They pick players for the NFL and the NBA that fits the look. This kid looks good in shorts. Let's draft him. He's really not that good though. So what? It's a meat market. They don't care about that. They don't care about that. Miami is one of the worst and poorly ran franchises in NFL history. They've had good players that they lucked up on, and they never built it around it properly for real. Outside of the 70s, let's take the 70s out. Let's take the 70s out. The 70s, 80s, okay, cool. But when the 70s and the 80s, the NFL was not worried about the money aspect. When you got to the 90s, that's when you start seeing owners worry about the money. Money, money, money. And their scouting process is trash. Their coaching has been trash because they haven't been able to develop players. And the administration have been terrible. It's a poorly ran franchise. So how do you have 179 million in dead cap space where you have 7 of the 8 players don't even play for your team? Shout out to my dog Biggs in the building. Appreciate you for tapping in. You already know, hit them likes, Biggs, hit them 100s. It helps with the growth of the show. Appreciate you as always, my dude. Y'all sending this to Turkey. I'm seeing nothing but Turkey in the chat. I'm seeing nothing but Turkey in the chat. But me personally, you talk about Miami. Miami is easily one of the hottest and easiest sells for a free agent. It's a destination that you will want to be at. It's a place you will want to be. If you're a player and you're an athlete and you get a chance to play in Miami, have you been to Miami? Ain't nothing but women all over the place. Naked too. They naked out there. Naked. All different types of spice. All how you like it. You got white spice. You got black spice. You got Latin spice. All types of spices out there. A little adobo, a little oregano, a little avocado. All type of spices of women that you. All different flavors. Okay? They like candy. Okay? Ice cream flavors. Like all that. The lifestyle. You pay no state taxes on top of that, but the lifestyle. Miami's also the type of place where you can enjoy the shit that you have because it's the lifestyle. Yeah, you got idiots everywhere, but it's looked as like you look at it as less than when you try to rob people in Miami. Like, you rob people? Like, I get it, but like, you low rank. Like, get this person out of here. Miami's that type of place because you have Miami and you have Miami Beach. And one thing I can say about people from Miami, they not haters. So if you shining, I'm a shine too. Even if my shine ain't just shine, I'm still gonna shine. I ain't no bum. That's most people in Miami mindset. I ain't no bum. You shining, I'm shining. You ain't the only one that get money out here. I might not get $1 million, but shit, money I get, it look good on me, don't it? I got motion too. I got girls too. I got cars too. Most people in Miami got like 2-3 cars. I'm telling you. So the lifestyle in itself, it's a destination type of place where you want to go play, especially when you're playing pro sports, especially when you're playing football. Miami Dolphins also got nice uniforms too, but their franchises poorly ran. My goodness, it's been ass. Again, we're not talking about the Larry Zonkas. We're not talking about the Dan Marinos. That's in the 70s and the 80s, going into the 90s. But in the 90s, ownership run their program based on money, and they don't do a great job scouting. And I don't understand this about some of these owners, where if you scout well, you're gonna make more money because you're gonna go to the playoffs, and in the playoffs you make more money because you get to go to the playoffs and you get those TV rights. Or if you got a home game, that's more money you could charge for the damn playoff games. So I don't get these low-ranking mentality of these owners where they put together these bullshit teams and they know it's bullshit. They know it's bullshit, but they gonna spin it every year. No, this gonna be the year, baby. And these guys are ass. They're ass. And they do a terrible job at scouting and give the wrong people the money. The fact that 7 out of 8 of your highest paid players is not even on the team. That's not just an indictment on the coach, because to be real, head coaches in the NFL, they kind of like low ranking in power. They kind of low rank. They basically do what the GM says. That's what they basically do. They kind of low rank. 7 out of 8. 7 out of 8. That's a terribly ran franchise. Terribly ran franchise. And they're not the only one. You see it with the Cleveland Browns. Cleveland Browns is terribly ran too. Jets terribly ran. Terribly ran. Because they don't care. People going to show up anyway. It's Miami. It's beautiful. It's hot. It's, you know, they got a nice stadium. They got nice uniforms. People going to go to those games. It's still going to be sold out. They don't care. You mean to tell me that Miami couldn't get a Lamar Jackson to go to Miami? Shit, if I ran Miami, if Miami hired me as the management or GM, I get Lamar Jackson here. I get Patrick Mahomes here. Patrick Mahomes is my guy on my team. I'll get him here. It's Miami. Like, who wouldn't want to come to Miami? People that want to win. It's a poorly ran franchise. It's completely ass. And the guys that y'all give the keys is guys that you don't give the keys to. They wouldn't get the keys on other teams, but y'all give the keys here. As you can see, even the guys who are on other teams, they don't have the keys on the other team. They just a cog in the wheel. But no, Miami, oh, we're going to give you big bucks. Terribly ran franchise. The fact that they got $179 million in cap space and 7 out of 8 of their best players or their highest paid players is not even on the team. How many games do they win this year? How many games do they win this year? They bring in the kid Patrick from Green Bay, Patrick Willis, who was also on the Titans. He struggled on the Titans. He looked good with the Packers in a backup capacity, which is going to look very different for him being a starter, because now they're going to actually scheme against him. They're going to look at those Tennessee Titan tapes and why did he struggle? And they're going to look at the Packers tape on why did he succeed? They're going to look at those 2 tapes, and he's going to have a tough out because, like, let's keep it real. Who is his receivers? Who is his backs? The O-line? We don't know. Defense, their defense might be the bright spot of their team. Their defense might be. They drafted a nice the corner from I believe that's Utah. Is that Utah? No, from San Diego State. He's pretty solid. But they're in the division with the Patriots. Luckily the Jets, but you still got the Baltimore Bills. So automatically you're working at 3rd place here. And I personally think the Jets is better than them. The Jets have a better future than the Dolphins as of right now. As of right now, they have a better future than the Dolphins. And Dolphins, the Miami Dolphins is easily one of the, like a destination place where you want to go to play football. Shout out to y'all in the chat. Y'all going in the chat. I'm sending them to Turkey. No, I'm not sending them to Turkey. Turkey is sending them back to business school. Somehow get a new owner and management. Yo, shout out to Tom for that. Yo, that's funny. I'm going to ping that. I forgot to ping. Sometimes I forget to ping stuff, y'all. I'm going to ping that in time. That was funny. That was funny. He said, I'm not sending them to Turkey. I'm sending them back to business school and somehow get a new owner and new management. That's funny. Shout out to y'all. Y'all all sending it to Turkey. My daughter Kiso, Miami is literally playing a season with 40% of their roster's budget. That is ridiculous. This is a historic financial terrorism. That is ridiculous. That is ridiculous. Shout out to Cece. He said Turkey. Shout out to Kenny. Stop doing what you're doing. Those. Okay, shout out to Kenny. He was trying to troll. This is not the pod where you troll. We don't deal with the bots. Yeah, but shout out to you. If that wasn't a troll statement, as I'm reading it out loud, you gotta be more. You gotta clarify that because I don't get the talk in that speech. So, shout out to you though. So CC said turkey. So yeah, and I just pinged Tom's statement. My bad, y'all. I be forgetting to ping stuff on the chat, but I'm gonna start trying to remind myself to ping stuff. All right, y'all. Moving on to our next. Well, my bad. To finish that off, again, Miami, one of the worst ran franchises in NFL history. But like I said, they don't care about winning because they're gonna make money anyway. This is how they view this stuff. This is how they always gonna view it, and this is how they're gonna look at it. It's about the money. They're gonna get the money regardless. Shout out to CC Turkey, agents of chaos lurking. I love that. I love that. I love that. No, I'm not trolling kids out here. Love you, brother. Okay, so again, Kenny, I didn't understand the statement. So again, I apologize if you wasn't trolling. Okay, but again, I appreciate you. Okay, I just didn't understand the statement. Keesaw, the fact that Tua Tagovailoa is costing $55 million to not throw an interception for the Dolphins this year is wild. He's the MVP of vocationing. Shout out to Kenny. He said, "I'm sorry, brother." Now it's all good. Again, I didn't understand the statement. But yeah, I would have never paid Tua no $55 million based on how he played. Like I just like, what are we doing? Patrick Willis is talented as a quarterback. Well, I won't say talented. He had moments last year in a reserve capacity, and he's basically he has to prove it. Like he has to prove that he could play in the NFL. So what do that mean? If he does well this year with no weapons, he's going to be the guy moving forward. If he looks average or okay-ish, they're going to replace him next year. It's just that simple. And the NFL has this thing about being hyperbolic when it comes to the NFL draft. The quarterbacks have to be developed. Get your quarterback. The NFL is terrible at developing quarterbacks. And if you notice, the guys who are really good, they go to places where they can get developed. And it's all by the proper coaching. If you do your research, most guys who get developed comes from a tree of quarterbacks or coach that develops quarterbacks. Most of these teams comes from a Kansas City Chiefs, Patriots, the Rams. They come from these teams that have a history on developing quarterbacks. That's why when they get their guy, they need a year or two to develop them. And hey, oh damn, he's good. Yeah, he's good. But when you just take guys and you see guys in college, you be like, yeah, we just wait and we get this guy next year coming out of college. And this guy coming out of college, he's ass. Like last year, the guys that they were talking about coming out of college last year, they played terrible. Ain't none of them was like really worthy of a first round pick except for maybe like Ty Simpson. Ty Simpson looked like a first round pick to me when I seen him lose against Florida State. I said, yo, that's a first round pick. His timing, his leadership. I know they lost today, but yo, he could play in the lead if he gets a chance to develop. Who took him? Sean McVay. Surprise, surprise. I would not be surprised if he's a really good player after a guy like Stanford retires. So the NFL's terrible at their development process as well too. So, hey Ash, what do you think about the Browns starting Watson instead of Shador? It's a shit show. I said this before, and I released a clip That wasn't a quarterback competition. That's not a real quarterback competition. The reason why that wasn't a real quarterback competition, because everybody kept talking about, including the Browns, was Deshaun Watson's contract. So no matter what Shador did, it didn't matter because he's still making $40 million. Even if Shador was playing head and shoulders better than Deshaun Watson, they still would have started Deshaun Watson, because he's going to make $40 million. And in the eyes of these owners, they seen more value in playing a guy who makes 40 than a guy that's only going to make $1 million. But this is the part that they're missing, right? If Cleveland wins, they don't even have to go to the playoffs. If Cleveland wins, meaning like they win a good portion of the game, but games or they improve, I should say, they're gonna make all the money. The reason why I say that is because who do people want to see? They want to see Shador. Shador is probably, and I'm not talking about in skill, I'm talking about as far as fame. He's the most polarizing player in the NFL right now. People want to watch him play, whether they want him to succeed or whether they want to fail. They're going to tune in and tap in to see him play. He's probably a bigger draw than his dad. People like, yo, Ash, you bugging. There's only one Dion. That's a fact. But Dion didn't play quarterback, not in the NFL. He played quarterback in high school. He's not a quarterback. Shador's a quarterback. And people are invested in either watching him succeed or watching him fail. Most people don't have Shador in the middle, right? Most people will either say, yo, I want to see him succeed, or they want to say, I want to see him fail. Based on that being so polarizing, the viewership would be through the roof. Through the roof. So instead of, as an owner, looking at it as, of course, of doing business, having a $40 million player on your team. He's on your team. He would be a backup for real if it wasn't for the $40 million. Okay, cool. It's not like Shador is making $40 million himself. He's making $1 million. So you can actually afford to have Deshaun Watson on your bench as a $40 million backup. And you're going to lose his contract at the end of the year anyway. And you have more to look forward to as far as the future. And now you build your team and you're making more money. Because now people are going to be more invested into I can't think of the word, people watching them play. I can't think of that particular word, but people watching them play. They're going to be so invested. They're going to be so invested in the betting system. Them tickets is going to go through the roof. Have you ever seen when Shador start opposed to any other quarterback start for the Browns? It's a big difference in ticket sales. It's a big difference. It's a big difference in viewership. That was the word I couldn't find. In viewership. People want to see this kid play, and he can play. He can play. He went 3-4 last year with a coach that didn't even believe in him, with the worst offensive line in the league, with the second worst receiving core in the league. And mind you, Jerry Jeudy is not good. He's not good. And he went 3-4 with that group. This is a much better offensive group that they have. So the fact that they started Watson over Shador is not a surprise because, like I said, it's not a real quarterback competition if they keep talking about the money. And some people are clickbaiting and saying, oh, if Shador can't start over Deshaun, then he can't play in the league. You can't have it both ways. If we know that he wasn't going to start based on the money, you can't say he can't play in the league because he can't start over Deshaun Watson when we just seen him go 3-4 in a very terrible season for the Browns. Also went to the Pro Bowl and also went 3-4 with a team that you had 3 quarterbacks before him couldn't even win 3 games. So, yeah, terribly ran franchise. I've said this from the beginning. For some reason, I don't know why, But for some reason, I see Shador wearing a Cowboys uniform. I don't know why I see that, y'all, but I see it. I see him sometime, somewhere, either playing for the Cowboys or the Atlanta Falcons. Now, obviously, his ex-coach is there, Stefanski is there, so obviously he wouldn't play for them now. But I'm talking about as far as the future, because I don't think Stefanski is going to be there for a long time, because you cannot waste that receiving core, that running back core. You can't waste their prime. So I guarantee you, if Atlanta struggles this year, Stefanski is going to be gone probably the very next year, because you can't waste their prime. But for some reason, I see Shador in Dallas, and I think at some point that Dallas might find a way to move off on Dak. And Shador is from Dallas. I don't know why I see that, but I see that, dog. I just see that. I see that. I see that. I don't know why I see it, but I see it. But that's what I think of Deshaun starting over Shador. It's not a talent thing. It's not a talent thing. But that's how I see it. The coach did not make the decision to start Shador Watson. It was the management, the owners that let him. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. The coaches, and most people don't know this, the coaches is on the lower end of the totem pole when it comes to decision making in these franchises. Is not the coach. The way they look at the coach, yo, you here to call the plays, you here to deal with the football games. We give you the talent, my G. We tell you who to start, my G. And based on who we tell you, that's how you do what you need to do with them. That's how that worked. This was not a coach. This Todd Monken did not make this decision based on who he felt looked better. Because Ray Charles could have seen who played better. This is old management. Yo, we paying him $40 million and we paying him $1 million. And mind you, it's a sweet spot for Cleveland because, okay, we're going to get our money's worth. And Shador, he doesn't just make $1 million, even though he makes $1 million for the Cleveland Browns. But endorsements and things off the field, Shador make another $20 million just off that alone. So it's a sweet spot for them. We got a backup quarterback or a starting quarterback who's playing backup that's going to make good money. And we're going to bring him in at some point. Deshaun is not going to finish the season. He's not going to finish the season. And I was a big fan of Deshaun. I loved what he did with Houston. I love what he did at Clemson. I'm still a fan of Deshaun, of his overall career. But at this point in time right now, he's not the better quarterback. And I'm just speaking solely from a football perspective regarding that. So, okay, so I got that one too. And I also pinged that one too. Yeah, so that's what I think about that. That's what I think about that. All right, y'all, moving on to our next segment. You already know what time it is. It's time to rap. This segment is brought to you by Button Snaps, where you get the finest of movies, shows, documentaries, and original content for your viewing pleasure of $4.99. Again, that's the word button. Put the hyphenated sign and then the word snaps.com. Make sure you go there and get those premiere movies. All right, y'all, first one of the night. First hot topic of the night and time to rap. I want to say real quick, anytime a celebrity pass away, it's like that. It happens in trips and in fours, you know. So we had a couple more celebrities pass away, and it's worth mentioning. At least I believe so. Rest in peace to Dolly Parton, legendary Dolly Parton, and rest in peace to the legendary Tim Curry. Tim Curry is a big part of my childhood and upbringing. In his movies, he was always so funny, so scary. And anything that he did, he was always believable. For those who don't know Tim Curry did things like the Rocky Horror Picture. He did the movie Clue. He also did Home Alone 2. I believe he was our Grinch. If I'm not mistaken. He was the original It. He's the original It. As y'all know, the Welcome to Derry series. He was the original It. He was the original Pennywise. So again, rest in peace to Tim Curry. He passes away at 80. And rest in peace to Dolly Parton. All right, y'all, moving on to our next hot topic in Time to Rap. Question: is it safe to eat at Texas Roadhouse? Is it safe to eat at Texas Roadhouse? After a group of white servers have said that they spit in the food of their cultured patrons, excuse me, um, and this is supposed to be a group of 400,000 members who had a private Facebook group. Um, is it safe to eat at Texas Roadhouse? Now, Texas Roadhouse had launched their own investigation through a third-party cyber security team, and they said that the whole thing was a hoax. They found the source of basically this misinformation, and it's basically a hoax. And they basically put their, their profile, or they did their due diligence to give those people damages. And if they was to continue, it'll probably be punitive damages. Um, but even if it's a hoax, just the fact that the story is out there, that is in people's minds now, is it still safe to eat at Texas Roadhouse? I would love to know what y'all think about that in the chat. I would love to know what y'all think about that in the chat. If this is your first time tuning in and tapping in, this is Can the Brothers Get a Rap podcast. I'm Ashley Lovechild, episode 287, Wednesday edition. We're on every Wednesday, every Sunday live. Hit them likes, hit the 100s in the chat. It helps with the growth of the show, and it helps with the engagement. So is it still safe to eat at Texas Roadhouse? Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Me personally, I don't know if it's a hoax for real just because they say it's a hoax. If the company does the investigation and say, yo, it's a hoax, somebody was playing or somebody was doing something to whatever, okay, y'all protecting the reputation of your business as you should, right? I would expect you as Texas Roadhouse to say the otherwise anyway. I would expect you, even if this wasn't a hoax, to say, hey, we made some bad hiring decisions, and we take full responsibility on the people that we hired, but we're going to do our due diligence moving forward, yada yada yada. We can't have this type of standard in our place of business, and we have to people basically give us their trust that their food is going to be prepared properly and not be mess with the things of that nature. I would expect Texas Roadhouse to come out and say that if this wasn't a hoax or not a hoax. So they're saying it's not a hoax. Okay, cool, right? Let's go with that. Is it still safe? You mean to tell me this removed my peace of mind if I was to go to a Texas Roadhouse and to say, yeah, let me order this, that, and the third, and when I get my plate, that somebody in the back couldn't have did anything to it? Now, mind you, this can happen anywhere. This can happen at any restaurant, but this does not remove my doubt or just the thought of me saying, yo, they could have messed with my food in the back, and I don't know. And it could be unprovoked. So does this make Texas Roadhouse safe to still eat? Me, I don't know. Well, I don't care either way. I don't eat out anyway. I'm not a restaurant guy because I don't trust restaurants with food like that. But again, this is for everybody else who does. I would say 9 out of 10 people go to restaurants. 9 out of 10. If you're an adult, you probably go on a very regular basis, especially if you got a girl, especially if you got a woman. Yeah, you at the the Cheesecake Factory, you at a Red Lobster, you at Texas Roadhouse, you at these places, Outback, you at these different places. And when you go there, the last thing you want to worry about for your particular food, for your plate, that somebody spit in it, somebody did something to it, somebody threw the bread on the floor, put it back on the plate, the meat on the floor, rubbed it against the wall or something like that, because you really don't know when they bring it to you. Because all you see is the heat. That's all you see. You don't know. You could mistake the you you could mistake the spice for spit. Like you can. So you don't know. You don't know what people are intentions are. So this does not remove the doubt or the fear that your food is not going to be, affected when they bring it to you. Shout out to y'all in the chat. Y'all going in the chat. Uh, Shout out to Keesaw. It causes real world panic. Hurts the workers who rely on tips and poisons the well for actual instances of racism. True, you have a point there. That is a point, but it's not us on the people. It's not us on the people. It's the company that allowed that reputation to even fester or think that that's like their way of life. How many other restaurants and companies and franchises that we've had that's been around even longer than Texas Roadhouse that doesn't even have that type of pre-existing, I'm missing the word right now, but just that reputation. Even if it's true or not true, the fact that it's thrown in the air, it's the reputation. So it definitely affects, people that work there, their tips and things of that nature. But that's something now that their franchise have to really work on reeling back and gaining the confidence of their community or whatever community that they're in to let the people know, hey, we don't do that here. We make your food. We want to give you a great restaurant experience. That's the last thing you have to worry about here in our establishment. And that's worldwide. But them saying that does not remove the doubt. Like, can we be honest? Can we say what it is? Shout out to Tom. I don't eat at Texas Roadhouse. I don't eat Hooters. I don't eat at Chili's. I don't eat at those places. Outback Steakhouse in Texas is different. He's an Outback. I'm a pin Keesaw, even though I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying, but there's a duality to what you're saying too. But I'm still gonna show love to that comment as well. But he said Outback Steakhouse in Texas is different. There's a lot of restaurants in Texas that's different. Anytime I was in Texas, again, I'm not a restaurant person, you know what I'm saying? But it made you definitely want to go to a restaurant. I was in several different cities in Texas. I was in Dallas. I was in Austin. I was in Houston. I was in San Antonio. I was in several cities in Texas. And they do it differently out there. Like Florida. Florida has great restaurants too. Low key, they do have great restaurants in Florida too. But y'all get the point that I'm making. When a franchise develop a reputation, whether it's true or not, it becomes a part of it. It becomes a part of the decision making. Now, whether it's fair or not fair is just a part of the conversation. When you think of White Castle, what is the reputation of a White Castle? Those are the murder burgers. Those are the gas burgers. Those are the doo-doo burgers, right? Well, when you go to White Castle, them burgers used to hit the spot back in the day. Little onions on them bad boy, little ketchup. You went crazy with the White Castle burgers back in the day. But they always had a reputation of having the type of burgers that make you go to the bathroom, right? And it's just reputation, whether it's true or untrue, whether it's fair or unfair, it is what it is. And the only way you can remove that doubt is to have a better product. Once you have a better product, that rumor, whether it's true or not true, is just going to go away at some point. Shout out to my dog. He said, I went to Steak 4A in Texas. It didn't disappoint. Did the tomahawk lamb chop. It's ridiculous. I didn't eat it because I don't like blood and I need my food well done. If you're going to have a steak or beef brisket, oxtail, or any type of steak, Texas is the place to get bang for your buck. Yeah, I'm not a steak guy. I'm not a steak. All my friends are always like, yo, how do you not like steak? I've never been a steak guy like that. Never. No. I can't stand steak. I haven't had steak in years. When I mean years. Years. Yeah, I would say the last time I had steak for real, now I remember. The last time I had steak was in 2014. Last time I had steak at a Outback Steakhouse. Last time I had steak. Yeah. Yeah, I wasn't, nah. I just don't eat certain things anymore anyway, so it's not like steak would be on the menu for me anyway. I'm a beef brisket guy, but I'm a fish guy. Shout out to Lemon, Costa Rica, and Panama, my mother, father country. We are fish people. Yeah, I'm on the fish wave. You know what I'm saying? I'm a fish type of dude. Or I do rock with the turkey. I do get the turkey. You know what I mean? But fish, turkey type of dude. I'm not rocking with the cow, the beef, the pig. I'm not rocking with none of that anymore. I haven't had that in years. And that's kind of like the cheat code on keeping your stomach flat. No matter what you eat, keep your stomach flat. I get super duper full on a bowl of fruit. Super duper full. Super duper full on a bowl of fruit. You hear me? Come back, stomach flat. You know what I'm saying? Stomach flat. You know what I mean? 42 years old, flat stomach. You know what I'm saying? Working on my 8-pack. Got a little 6-pack right now. You know what I'm saying? So, you know what I mean? That's what that do for you. You know what I'm saying? Actually, that fish on the grill is phenomenal. Yo, here you go with the phenomenal, bro. Anytime you say phenomenal, that's like next tier deliciousness. You know what I'm saying? Pause. Bro, I ain't going to lie to you. Yeah, the fruit will change your life. I'm a fruit guy because I moved to Florida. Florida fruit hit different from New York fruit. When I go to New York, that fruit ain't the same, bro. I'm like, yo, what is this? What is this? This ain't the same fruit. You know what I'm saying? It hit different in Florida. It hit different in Florida. A different type of fruit. Fruit is on a whole nother level. But that fish on the grill, when you grilling it, when you actually grilling it, fresh on the grill, next level. You right. Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? But when you say phenomenal, bro, that's next tier taste buds. You know what I'm saying? That lets you know that's on a whole nother level, which I agree on. Right? All right, y'all. Moving on to our next hot topic in Time to Rap. It's a video that went viral that said married men feel like they have to initiate sex with their wives in order to get sex. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Again, I would love to know what y'all think about that in the chat. A video went viral that married men feel like the only way that they really have sex is that they have to initiate it each and every time with their wife in order to clap cheeks. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Me personally, I think that's terrible. But it sounds about right. Sounds about right. Think about it, right? The whole purpose was for her to get you to marry her. So yeah, you probably clapped that ass everywhere. And then once you got married, some women have the mentality, you ain't going nowhere. So whether I give you these cheeks tonight or tomorrow or next week, guess what? You ain't going nowhere. Even if you get you a little something on the side, you not leaving me. But me personally, I cannot be in a situation where I'm sexually frustrated with a woman where a woman, in my opinion, should want you just as bad as you want her. When I walk in a room, my woman lady box should be tingling off rip. I tell every woman that I deal with, I'm not going to hold you, and this is not even too much information. I tell every woman I deal with, I say, yo, when you want it, jump up on it. Pause. When you want it, jump up on it. If I have to always initiate, I'm going to assume that you don't like me. And when I assume that you don't like me, guess what? I'm not going to be around. Because it's a turn on for me that you want me. It's a turn on for me when I come in here and lay down, you start doing stuff. If you don't start doing stuff when I lay down, you like the way I smell, you like the way my body looking, my face looking. Hey, if you ain't starting shit, it ain't gonna be no shit from here on out. It's not even gonna be a thing. I'm gonna send you on your way. And I make that very clear when I deal with a woman. Like, I'm dead serious. I tell a woman that every single time I start dating her. I'm not talking about the casual. The casual is the casual, right? But when I make a conservative effort to date a woman or women, I let them know, yo, if I'm initiating, guess what? I won't be back. If you like me the way you say you like me, you better show it. How? When I walk up in this place, you better get up on this. If you don't get up on this, I'm going to assume you don't like me like that. And go do your thing and I'm going to go do mine. It's just that simple. But it's a different game though. When you're with somebody for years and you get married and you have children, you got responsibilities, you got obligations, people get old, they get complacent, and they forget to take care of their partner's needs. So the fact that this video went viral that men feel like, that are married men feel like they have to initiate sex with their wives in order to get them a piece is crazy. Even still to this day, because as women get older, believe it or not, when they get to like their late 30s, early 40s, they get even hornier. They get even hornier. You won't have to, you should not be able, you shouldn't even have to ask your woman if she's 39 and older, hey, let me get some of that. You walk in the house, the house smell all good. She got on, I'm kind of like old school, you know what I'm saying? She got on like lingerie or a little moo-moo or something like that, something real easy access, you know what I mean? Got the music playing. Oh, you know, she getting belly clapped tonight, you know what I'm saying? And you know what I'm saying? A lot of women who are late 30s, early 40s move on that type of time. A lot of women in their 20s, they might not have the moo-moo and the lingerie on. They might not have the smell goods in the back. But you can kind of sense, yo, she up on time in the night. Like, I walked in here, she naked. She naked. She might not go the extra mile and put the smell good and the potpourri and all that and get the lingerie. But she gonna be naked and she gonna be on time in her 20s. And then you get to your 30s, that's when they go to sleep at 8 p.m. Hey, wake your ass up. Why are you at sleep at 8 p.m.? Like, that don't make any damn sense. But y'all get the point that I'm making. It's a damn shame when relationships get not only convenient, but it get complacent. Where even if you're a woman, you feel like you're always initiating. Even as a dude, you feel like you're always initiating. Nobody wants to feel like they're always the person that have to do everything. Everybody wants to feel wanted. So the fact that a lot of men is not feeling wanted. And I remember having the discussion with this woman. I was in Jamaica. We was on vacation. And, you know, she was, you know what I mean, right? And I told her straight up, I said, I never want you to need me if we was to ever get serious. We having a good time right now. But if we was to ever get serious, I never want you to need me, ever. You have to want me. And a lot of guys who you know, had their platforms at the time, this was, you know what I mean? But other dudes say they rather be needed than wanted. No, not old Ash. You gotta want it. You gotta want me, goddammit. If you don't want me, then I don't want to be here. I don't want to be needed. I don't want a woman that need me, where if I'm not there, this doesn't get done. I want the type of woman that this gets done regardless. Whatever needs to be done, it needs to get done. If you see it needs to get done, then do it. That's like if you walking past, you walking in the house and you see the trash overflow. You don't say, oh, that's a man's job or that's a woman's job. It smell like ass in here. Take the trash out. You see it, take it out. It's just that simple. It's just that simple. Now, if somebody breaking this damn house, yeah, then that's my job. You ain't equipped like that. I got this. But everything else, do it. If you see what needs to be done, do it. If you see we need a little bread in the refrigerator, what do? You don't say, hey, babe, we need bread. Go get the bread. If I see we need bread, I'm going to go get the bread. If I see the house need cleaning, I'm going to clean the house. If you see the house need cleaning, you clean the house. It's just that simple. I don't see how people walk past trash or walk past something like real loose. I don't see how people do that. When you see it, fix it. So I never want somebody to, or I never want a woman to need me. She has to want me. So I find that quite interesting that a lot of men is dealing with that type of situation. Shout out to my dog Tom, Florida. Florida got it like that. Going to Jamaica, eating their pineapples and mangoes. Their fruit is sweet. It's different, bro. Yeah, the fruit. I told you the fruit in Florida different. You know what I'm saying? Yes, women be losing their drive because I think they think about other dudes like Chris Brown and guys that they can't, and brothers who got to be more active with your woman. See, I don't like that notion where guys feel like they have to do stuff to keep their woman attention. No, when somebody fuck with you, you don't need to do something to keep their attention because they really are in tune with you. Your existence alone is enough. That's like the mindset, right? With somebody, like you need somebody to make you happy. You'll never find somebody to make you happy. You have to be happy within yourself, and then when you get with somebody, you're happy together. The most successful married couples that I know today, and I know a few, majority of those couples, the wives are just happy with the mere presence of their husband. The mere presence of their husband. They won't even go in their home all the way until their husband come home. What do that mean? They won't go in their room. They won't really sit down and enjoy themselves until their husband walk through the door. And these husbands are like regular guys. These are not guys who are 6'8", abbed up, millions of dollars. No, these are regular guys. These guys are not working $1 million jobs. These are regular guys. But the mere presence of their husbands, they love seeing them. They think they attractive. They think this, that, you know what I'm saying? And they regular dudes. But they see the world in their husbands. And their husbands see the world in them. You know what I'm saying? So the fact that you always got to be the initiator, that shit is a turnoff in my eyes. It's like for me, it like I said, it definitely turns me off if I'm the one always initiating. What you did get is her. How you are going to keep her. Women get bored quicker than cardboard box. You got to keep a woman mind moving. They love adventure while you think they play with bad boys. Yeah, that's too much work. That's too much work. Hey, baby, you want to make things real spicy around here? How about I don't pay the bills? Yeah, that'll get your mind moving. How about I get the water turned off? Yeah, that will get you that will get your juices flowing, huh? How about I do something like not be accountable? Yeah, at some age, like at certain age, you don't want to play the games. You don't want to play the games, and when you're the husband, you should not have to play the game. You paid the price for her, basically for her loyalty. So why are you still playing games? Any woman play games with you, hey man, every man is different. I'm not going to tell men what to do for real, but every man is different. You tolerate what you can tolerate. But understand this, fellas. When you tolerate certain behavior, it only gets worse and it gets toxic. Tolerating behavior do not make y'all win. And men, we're about to win. We want to win in our relationships. We want to win in business. We want to win in everything that we do. And if our relationship is not allowing us to win because we fester in this toxic shit, you taking years off of your own success and years off your own life. Keep it a beam with you. And the crazy thing is, you can't get a woman's loyalty based on money. Because we see billionaires, we see millionaires, they go through it all the time with their chick. And when we see their chick, these chicks don't be nothing like damn, this chick bad. Like, I can see why you going through the truth. They be regular degular. They very okay-ish. A lot of these, I'm not gonna say no names, but a lot of billionaires and millionaires, dude, like I wouldn't even I wouldn't touch them. I wouldn't touch their wives. They're not cute like that. I'm keeping it 1,000. So even money is not even the determining factor of loyalty, right? It's not. Women deal with bad boys for real. I'm gonna just keep it real with you. One, they know it is exciting because most so-called bad boys, their focus is on basically getting a woman. That's the focus, playing the game. When you graduate from that mindset, when you're not worried about being a bad boy, you worry about winning in life, like that bad boy shit, I'm wasting my money and time fucking with you. I'm wasting my money and time fucking with you. So yeah, nah. I get the point that you're making, Tom, but man, and I'm not even saying you're wrong. I'm just saying that guys who play the game with women, right? Guys who keep it exciting, mind you, it's for a short period of time. This is not, you can't sustain that for a long period of time. You can't. Like even somebody like Blueface be having me crying, y'all. The clips that I see, Blueface is comedy gold, bro. There's a clip of him playing with the stepson, and they playing musical chairs, and Blueface cheats, and obviously he wins, right? So the stepson he's pissed. He's so pissed he takes off his shoe and starts hitting him with the shoe, right? You know how mad you got to be to hit somebody with your shoe, and the mother walks in, right? The kid's mother. She like, yo, get the hell up out of here. You making too much noise. Like, get up out of here. Talking to the son. And he's like, nah, he cheated, ma. He cheated. Like, he cheated. That's messed up. And Blueface right on time. Yeah, hey, man. Yo, that's what I do, man. I'm a cheat. I'm a cheater, man. That's what I do. And the mother looks at Blueface and just leaves the room. You're like, hey, man, I don't know what to tell you, man. That's what I do, man. And obviously the kid don't understand that, but us watching, or me watching it, I laughed literally for 6 minutes straight. So the point that I'm making, even with somebody like a Blueface, right? He have some of these women minds out of control, right? Understand, it's for a good time. It's not for a long time. Because you can't focus on the foolery with women and trying to entertain and deal with the bullshit and focus on winning, getting to that paper, taking care of your family, securing your future, securing your present. That shit is always for a short period of time. So that's the only point that I'm making regarding that. But yes. Remember, y'all, hit them likes. Hit them 100s, hit them hearts in the chat. It definitely helps with the growth of the show. This is Ken and Brothers Get a Rap podcast. I'm Ashley Lovechild. This is episode 287, which is a lot of damn episodes. We're live every Wednesday, every Sunday, and I appreciate y'all for tuning and tapping in as always. All right, y'all, moving on to our next Time to Rap. Our next hot topic in Time to Rap. College conferences has just made a rule that they will not allow NFL players to come back to college. I would love to know what y'all think about that in the chat. Again, I would love to know what y'all think about that in the chat. College football conferences has came out with a rule saying that they are not allowing NFL players to come back to college to play college football. And I wouldn't say even college football conferences. There's only a few that came out and said it. So the Big Ten immediately came out and said, hey, we are not allowing guys who played in the NFL to come back to college to play college football. Then the Big 12 followed suit. And I believe, so yeah, so it's the Big 12, and now the SEC has followed suit. Now, mind you, the SEC was first on the train with allowing NFL players to come back and play college football via LSU. This is why I continue to say the Big Ten is a better conference. Now, not only we've been dominating college football the past 3 years, but the NIL deal is an issue, the coaching is an issue, and it favors the Big Ten. The only reason why people was going to the SEC was because of Nick Saban. And when you have a great football team, you have to have great players to play against them because it's very easy to sell. Hey, we play against Alabama. Alabama's not recruiting you, but we're recruiting you. So when the NFL, when they look at that player from Alabama, guess who they're going to watch? They're going to watch you too. So that's an easy way to recruit players to the SEC. Mind you, since the 90s, the SEC wasn't a heavy recruiting base for the top tier athletes. A lot of the top tier athletes in the 90s and the 2000s went to the Big Ten, went to the ACC, went to the Big 12. SEC became a power because of the power and the prowess of Nick Saban's Alabama team. So now we got no more Nick Saban. So now you see a lot of those players going to the Big 10, going to the Big 12, and they spread it around a little bit. The SEC are able to still recruit because of the recruiting base and because of the state laws of the NIL. So what that means, places like Mississippi, Alabama, they don't hit, and Louisiana, excuse me, they don't tax players NIL money if you go to those southern schools statewide. So that is the draw on keeping some of that talent. If they didn't do that, a lot of those kids will continue to go to the Big Ten. So this came about because the Cleveland Browns cut a tight end. And just like that, when they cut him, he was in the transfer portal going to LSU. And until the story basically went viral and it hit national news, that they made the rule change. Big Ten was first to come out and say, yeah, we're not jacking that at all. Big 12 was on that type of time. And now the SEC as a whole is like, yeah, we was going to try to find a loophole if we can, but we're going to look crazy if we allowed this. So the fact that they are ruling this out altogether, I love it. I love it because, like I said last episode when I covered the story of that Cleveland Browns tight end going to LSU in the transfer portal, it's an unfair advantage. I don't care if that player didn't play a whole bunch of minutes in the NFL. The fact that you're able to run with NFL players, lift with NFL players, practice with NFL players, gain that type of reps, understanding game speed, learning how to use your physicality is a huge advantage. Having to go back and play against 18 to 23-year-old players opposed to grown-ass men who not only got locker room strength, but got grown man strength and grown man worries, got kids, got a mortgage to pay for, or he gonna snap you in two. You have a considerable athletic advantage, game advantage, than going back to college. Your game speed is completely different. So I'm glad that they came out and ruled against this because this would have been completely unfair. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to Keesaw. Appreciate Keesaw for tuning and tapping in. Finally, some actual leadership in college football. That the Big Ten and the SEC did what they needed to do. Okay. Shout out to Jimmy. SEC was big before Saban, Steve Spurrier, Bobby Fraterno. The list goes. No, they was not. You're talking to somebody that know college football. Don't play yourself here. You're talking to somebody that know college football, sir. No, they was not. Stop. Don't do it to yourself. Steve Spurrier was a great coach at Florida. Now he's going to make me do it to him. Steve Spurrier was a great coach at Florida. Facts. You know who they struggled against on a very regular basis? Miami, Florida State. Who was the premier team back in the 80s, 90s, and the 2000s? In the 2000s, Florida was better than Miami. Stop. In the 80s and 90s, they was better than Florida State, with Lavernius Coles, Peter Warwick, Warwick Dunn, William Floyd. The list goes on and on. You talking to somebody that knows this. Nobody was ever afraid of the SEC back in the 80s and the 90s. What are you talking about? Nobody was afraid of them. Even when a guy like Tim Tebow got there, nobody was afraid of Florida. Nobody was afraid of Florida. Nobody was afraid of the SEC. It was Nick Saban. What are you talking about? Nobody was even afraid of the LSU teams that Nick Saban had. But because Nick Saban at the time came from the NFL, he came from the Miami Dolphins. And because he came from the Miami Dolphins, all the great players, the recruits, they gravitated to Alabama because they went with the mindset, this coach could get me to the NFL. And because of that, the SEC grew in recruiting because they had to play against Alabama. So you saying the SEC was always about that action, boss? No. Maybe in the 60s, yeah. Yes. Yes, Alabama was dominant in the 60s. Yes. In modern day sports, 20, 30, especially 30 years ago in the 90s, nobody was talking about the SEC. Nobody was afraid of them. When the tide changed, when it turned a little bit on understanding the type of athletes the SEC had opposed to every other conference, is when LSU, which was led by Nick Saban, played Notre Dame. And you've seen the difference in their big athletes, not their little athletes, where they had big guys who was fast, who was strong, but also big. Yeah, I know this. I know this stuff, bro. I know this stuff. How many SEC teams won championships in the 80s and 90s? Okay. When Nick Saban got to LSU, that's when things changed. Then he left. He went to Miami, came back to Alabama. Then Alabama went crazy. Then the recruiting went crazy in the SEC. All right. Yeah, don't do that over here, Jimmy. I rocks with you because you tapped and tuned in. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate your support. But don't say stuff like that. Don't say stuff like that. I grew up in this. Teams like Nebraska back in the 80s and 90s. That's the Big 12. Teams like Texas. People think Texas is an SEC team. That's a Big 12 team. Oklahoma, 80s, 70s, 80s, 90s. That's a Big 12 team. All right, so moving on to our next hot topic in Time to Rap. A Jay-Z documentary, new documentary, is set to release September 18th on HBO featuring legendary producer Rick Rubin. I would love to know what y'all think about that in the chat. Again, I would love to know what y'all think about that in the chat. Again, Jay-Z new documentary is releasing September 18th on HBO featuring the legendary producer Rick Rubin. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Remember, y'all hit them likes, hit the 100s. It does help with the growth of the show. If this is your first time tuning in and tapping in, Can the Brothers Get a Rap podcast. I'm Ashley Lovechild, and we're live every Wednesday, every Sunday. Yeah. So me personally, I seen the actual footage of the new documentary of Jay-Z, Rick Rubin coming out. And I love this. I love the fact that Jay-Z is having such a great rollout and people are getting a chance to appreciate his greatness. Again, I was a kid growing up and I seen how great Jay-Z was as a kid. He was always revered as one of the very best rappers we've ever had. and well deserved because he was always consistent. He always gave us substance, and he always gave us tough music. And mind you, he gave us State Property, Rockefeller, and even though if people say it was a joint venture, he wasn't the only one there. But without him, Rockefeller and State Property wouldn't be that. So it is because of him. So at the end of the day, I love the fact that he's starting to get his propers. Now, some people may say, oh, they don't like it because he's going to be 60 and they trying to push him down our throats. Pause. I don't think that at all. I think when somebody is great, they get the attention that they get. We don't have these conversations, these dumbass conversations with rock and rollers. When Kiss or any other these very older acts who are in their 80s, and when they come out and they do shows, everybody supports them. Mind you, when Kiss came out, they was pretty ass. They wasn't revered until pretty much later into their career. But when they first started, they was very much ass. Jay-Z, throughout my childhood, always got love. And the greatest lyricists always showed Jay-Z love. So at the end of the day, the fact that he's dropping projects, whether it's an album, whether it's doing show series, whether he's doing a documentary, and people are gravitating to it, there's nothing wrong with it. We need that in the culture. We need hip-hop culture. Hip-hop culture is led by a multitude of things. It's not just the young group. I don't believe that the youth should be the sole progenitor of leading hip-hop. It can't be. How can somebody lead when they have less experience in life? How can they lead? Now, hip-hop needs youth and veterans in the game, because veterans give us the substance and the youth gives us the energy. That's how it works. So the fact that Jay-Z, as a veteran, as a legend, is giving us a new documentary highlighting the album, what his albums, new or old, in moments. This is very needed in hip-hop because this gives us what? A blueprint on younger artists who are coming up, because guess what? Jay-Z is not the last artist that's going to get this type of opportunity. So we need artists like Jay-Z, just like we needed artists before Jay-Z to kick down these doors and open up the play for everybody else coming behind them. So I can't wait to see this. I've never known Jay-Z to give us a mediocre product, whether albums, documentaries, whether it's a show series. I've never known him to not give us nothing better than something fire in anything that he's done, honestly. A shout out to y'all in the chat. Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is Hov. Shout out to Keys for allow me. It's because real world. Hip hop or nothing, plain and simple. Shout out to my dog Cece. Shout out to Jimmy. Shout out to Jimmy. His acting and State Property was me. I get. All right, Jimmy. I give you that. Yo, Jimmy, you a jerk. Jimmy, you a jerk for that. I give you that though. I give you that. He said his acting and State Property was medium. Yeah, I give you that. But Jay-Z not no actor, but I get the point that you're making. I did say anything that he did, he does give us good work. It was me. The only reason why you saying it's medium, because it was medium, but it was funny though. It was funny. You can't say it wasn't funny, but he's not an actor. I will say that. He's not an actor. And we seen him in like 3 different things. Like he was in State Property. I feel like Jay-Z was in like something else. He was in State Property and something else. And then, of course, you know, he has like his own videos. Like, what people don't realize, the way Jay-Z got big in the music video space, in the 90s, in the late 90s, he used to do like mini movies. And the mini movies was basically how, you know, State Property did their movies. It's just they didn't have like actors, you know what I'm saying? So they basically did like these music video movies where they went on from one song to the next or whatever. If y'all don't know about The Streets Is Watching, you know what I'm saying? When that came out, I was like, I would say like 9, 10-ish. and I had to watch it because, you know, the women in there had their shirts off, they had strippers in there. So at 10 years old, seeing some boobies, you know what I'm saying, was like pre-med, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is obviously before Instagram. Like, you go on Instagram and X right now and see all that, right? But at that time back in the day, you wasn't gonna see like good young boobies like that, you know what I'm saying? So shout out to Jay-Z and for having the music video series, you know what I'm saying? You can see all that in the music videos, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So yeah. But nah, you right. I give you that. Yo, Jimmy, you a jerk for that one though. Shout out to Keyshawn between his Yankee Stadium residency this past summer and now an 8-part HBO documentary series. 2026 is officially the year of Jay-Z. I can agree with that. I can agree with that, especially if the album's fire. And then what most people don't realize and understand, and this is again another thing that I hate about the music space. All music is preference based. And I hate when I hear like other supposed music people be like, oh, when he dropped this music, the kids is not gonna gravitate to it. If that's the case, so fucking what? So what? Because all of our music experiences is for music lovers. And what the hell do that mean, Ash? Okay, I know about Ray Charles. I've listened to Ray Charles. He not a part of my damn era. I know about the Temptations. They not a part of my damn era. I know their greatness. I know James Brown and his greatness. I can listen to their music right now that they dropped in the 60s and still enjoy their greatness, even though they wasn't speaking to my ass that wasn't born yet. But the music is great. It's timeless. So when people say, oh, this music is not for this young generation or this is not for the old generation, so what? Great music is timeless. Great music is for everybody. It doesn't even matter who is for and who is not for. When radio stations, when somebody says something is a radio hit, they saying that the song is good. Because when you do music, you're not supposed to like make music with the sense of like, yeah, I made this for the radio. I made this for the clubs. When something is good, they make it for that. When you go on the radio, especially back in the 90s and in the 2000s, when the song was great, it was for the radio because it was great. It's not because it was a radio song. It's because it's a great song. So it kills me when people have this age-based thing in hip-hop where it's based out of fear. What are you fearful? That something could be that impactful? No, they force other rappers on us that I'm not going to say their name, but they force other rappers on us. You don't force a Jay-Z because he's a legend. He's a legend. You don't force a Nas because he's a legend. You don't force a Nicki Minaj because she's a legend. People gonna gravitate to dope music, and it's preference based. So just because you like a Little Uzi, you might not like a Jay-Z. If you like a Jay-Z, you might not like a Lupe Fiasco. But if you're a real fan of the genre, you like all three. You see the value in all three. You might not like this one as much, but you see the value in all three and you acknowledge all of their greatness. Hip-hop music is not age-based. This is the first era that we lived in where grandparents is listening to the same genre as the fucking grandkids. Grandkids is wearing the same clothes as the grandparents. When people say, yo, dress your age, motherfucker, I am. Jordans came out when I was a kid. I'm dressing like me. You want me to dress like my grandfather? You want me to dress like my pops? I don't wear corduroys. I didn't grow up with corduroys. That's not my bag. That's not my era. I don't wear the fedora hats is cool, but that's not my era. That's my pops era. You would easily catch my pops in a fedora. That's not my bag. For those who still pull it off, cool, no judgment. You seen Joe do verses the other night with the 3-piece suit. That's his bag. That's his era. That's the era that he's from in the mindset of the people that came before him. But I'm not. You ain't gonna ask me to dress like my grandfather or my pops. That's a whole nother different generation. Even though we in different eras. Me and my daughter's 23 years old. We're in the same generation but different eras. You can appreciate all this shit. It's not age based. It's either it's good or it's not. Period, point blank. When you listen to a young artist and you can't relate to nothing that they saying, if you can't relate to nothing that they're saying, but you can respect the music because it's good or it's great, you could do the same thing for an older artist. I do that all the time. Anita Baker is one of my favorite singers ever. Anita Baker ain't in my generation. She not in my era. But I hear them vocals, the greatness, the greatness. She wasn't talking to me. I'm not a part of her generational crew. When she was singing them songs to them men, I'm not the man that she was thinking about, in the sense where the dude she was probably thinking about was wearing a fedora, rocking a damn three-piece suit. That's the dude she probably thinking about. And there ain't nothing wrong with that, but I can hear the value and the creativity and the talent and the greatness in her music for me to appreciate it. And for me, she could drop an album tomorrow and I still listen to it because I could appreciate it. But this whole age-based shit on music, that shit is terrible. How are we in the same damn generation in different eras and we don't appreciate each other? The music space should be the easiest space to appreciate because it's not like sports. In sports, we really say, yo, what it would be like if LeBron James and Jordan was on the court at the same time, what's happening? In the music space, we don't have those conversations because we don't have to. Because LeBron James and Michael Jordan could be on the court at the same time in the music space and we could find out what happened. But I'm crazy though. Shout out to my dog Patrick. You know what you should do? A ranking of best rappers that could act. I might do that. I might do a rankings. I might do that. All right, so Pat, I'm gonna hold your feet to the fire, right? And I'm actually gonna make a list on all the rappers who can act. I'm gonna do that. Tupac was probably the best actor who was a rapper. I'm gonna have to disagree there. I think the best was yet to come with Tupac, but I don't think he was the best rapper turned actor. I don't believe that. But I do think he's probably top 3. If not top 2, top 3. Off the top of my head, it's easily Will Smith. It's easily Will Smith. Easily. Will Smith can play a damn Pepsi can. He could play a light bulb. He could play a tree. He could play a cloud. That's how good Will Smith is. He's done everything. There's not one thing he hasn't done. He's played the straight man. He played a gay man. He's played the straight man in a comedy. He's played not Marvel, but he's played a superhero. He's played he's fought against robots. He's fought against zombies. He lived by himself. He's basically been, he's held the movie 2 hours basically by himself. Like, ain't nobody touching Will from the rapper's chair, from the rappers overall. But I thought Tupac was really good as an actor. But I really, honestly, I look at it, I don't really look at Tupac as a rapper. I look at Tupac as an actor who raps. Because the first thing Tupac did was acting. He act first. That was his first thing. He's always been an actor. He got a chance to rap. So was he acting as a rapper? Because we always seen different sides of Tupac, right? I'm just saying. But I still got Will Smith on top of that list. As you telling me Anita Baker wasn't thinking of a dude. Yo, Cece, I'm not. Yo, Cece, you stupid. Dog, you are dumb, bro. Yo, you are dumb. Yo, you are dumb. Yo, you are dumb, bro. I'm gonna move that on. Patrick. Oh, I forgot about Will Smith, LOL. Jimmy, you definitely East Coast bias with hip hop, but good combo. How am I East Coast bias? I didn't say nothing about East Coast bias. I didn't say nothing about East Coast rap that was East Coast bias. He said I'm East Coast bias. What I said that was East Coast bias. I didn't say anything that was East Coast bias. You wasn't here when I mentioned who was the top rappers in the game. But if you saying that because I said Tupac is an actor and not a rapper, then that's not East Coast bias. Tupac is not even from the West Coast. He's from the East. So why would I mention him at all, right? So yeah, I've talked about Mac Dre on his platform several times. I've talked about Snoop Dogg on his platform several of times. I've talked about, even though I'm not a fan of his for real, Kendrick Lamar. But you can't ignore Kendrick Lamar's impact, right? So that's not an East Coast bias. I've talked about one of the first groups that was so impactful to me, and mind you, when they came out, I was a little kid, but I thought the world of them because how they came out and how brash they was, how young they was actually NWA, and it's funny to me that the Ice Cube that we see today, that wasn't the Ice Cube that came out back then. It's funny that our kids and little brothers and nephews, when they think of Ice Cube, they think of the actor. But me, I think of the young, brash rapper that came out back in the late 80s, early 90s. So it's not an East Coast bias. But we're not going to sit here and say that the East did not start the genre and that most of our elite lyricists comes from the East. Even though I have an appreciation and an affinity for a Scarface who comes from Houston. And I just said that on the very last episode when I talked about Ghetto Boys on the very last episode. So it's not an East Coast bias at all. I talked about appreciation for Trick Daddy, even though Trick Daddy was out of pocket for calling I forget who he called ugly, and I was like, yo, Trick Daddy, bro, yo, keep that ugly bag. Like, don't call nobody ugly, right? That's gonna make you look bad. But there was a point in time when Trick Daddy came out back in the late 90s when I was in junior high school with that song You Don't Know Nah and Trina. I'm a kid from Brooklyn, and I seen that video and heard that song in Brooklyn. So influence doesn't know East Coast, West Coast, South. Your influence is your influence. Straight like that. So it's no bias. If you're good, you're good. If the music is popping, it's popping. If it's okay, it's okay. If it's mediocre, it's mediocre. There's no bias in that. It just is what it is. And furthermore, I do feel like we got more talented lyricists in the East Coast throughout the history of rap. But West Coast beats, them motherfuckers be cheating. Because there ain't no way you can bop to a West Coast beat. They mix hip-hop with G-Funk. That's a recipe for cheating, bro. You dancing. And you can play that shit anywhere. In the club, in the street, in the house. Hip-hop beats with G-Funk. And you had them samples to it. Come on, bro. That's cheating. That's great production right there. So it ain't no East Coast bias. Shout out to CC, NWA, Ice Cube was there. That's what I'm saying. That was a different type of dude. And when we looked up, he was dolo. He was gone. Like, yo, what happened? And back then, it's not like now when something happens, like they let everybody know, this, that, and the third. We kind of had to like speculate. And it took time for information to get to us. Shout out to Nate in the building. Appreciate Nate. Hit them likes, hit them 100s. It does help with the growth of the show. I listen to Rapper's Delight. Okay, first rap song from the 1940s. Yeah, rap ain't that old, but you know, but okay. But I know you being facetious when you say that, but okay. Hey man, Rapper's Delight. I'm not a fan of the song like that, but it has a place in hip hop. Rapper's Delight was necessary to cross rap over to accept everybody else. That's how that shit works. I watched the movie. What movie I watched the other day? Rhyme and Reason? It wasn't Break. I think it was Rhyme and Reason. And that acting was just terrible. It was, and it was, who was the star of that? Was it Blair Underwood? It was either Blair Underwood or no, it was Mario Van Peebles, Rhyme and Reason. At the time when that movie came out, that movie was like, yo, did you see Rhyme and Reason? 2026, that shit is ass cheeks, but you needed that movie for everything else to come behind it. Like everything has, you know, we need people to walk through those doors, man. So I have appreciation for everything that comes before us, because without that, we wouldn't be where we at today, for real. So yeah. So but again, going back to the original, I'm looking forward to the Jay-Z documentary. I think it's going to be super dope. I think, again, most of the stuff that Jay-Z does is always done right. And I think this is going to be fire. All right, so moving on to our next hot topic in Time to Rap. A viral video of the culture. There's been several viral videos. When I say culture, y'all, if this is your first time tuning in, I don't like saying the word black. Because that's not what we are. We're not black people. We're not muddy. We're not dirty. If you look up the meaning black, that's what it means. Okay? We're not 3/5 of a human being or people. So I don't subscribe to what they give us. I don't subscribe to color. I don't subscribe to African American. I don't subscribe to black. We are the culture. We are the culture. We are the culture. We are the culture. So when I say culture, I mean that thus of those of the so-called black people, right? So viral videos, many viral videos is going crazy of the culture, not knowing historic people by face. I would love to know what y'all think about this in the chat. And what I mean by this is that these videos, they will have a picture of Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, Marcus Garvey, Sojourner Truth, George Washington Carver, and many of the younger generation don't know who these people are by face. I would love to know what y'all think about this in the chat. Again, I would love to know what y'all think about this in the chat. Me personally, when I seen these videos, I was a bit disgusted. It's like, what are we doing? We talk about all this woke shit, and I said this last episode, we use woke, we weaponize the word woke for people not being a part of a particular agenda, even when the agenda is not for us. Like, we blindly go to bat about certain politics that's not for us, but we go to bat for things that is more secondhand information. So what do that mean? Most of our politics is secondhand information. It's what we hear and not what we read and not what we go do our research on. So based on that, we don't have our eyes on the prize when people that came before us, hip hop, right? We talked about hip hop. Now we're talking about Sojourner Truth, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, Marcus Garvey. This is on a whole nother level. This is on a whole nother level. And it kills me, the word relevance, because we are so in love with relevance and fame to the point where if something is not famous or trendy or relevant, that we don't feel like it's important to know. When you should know your history. That's your history of who you are. How the hell are you supposed to go somewhere and you don't know who you are and where you come from? How? Riddle me that. So the fact that we don't know who our own pillars are is a problem. And the reason why it's a problem is because we can't allow other people outside of our culture to tell us who's important in our culture. And by us not knowing these people by face, but we know Lil Uzi by face. And there's no disrespect to Lil Uzi. I'm just using it as an example. But we know people because of their relevance and because of their fame. But we have contributions that still dictate the way of life. People that came before us hundreds of years ago. Shit. Y'all got to remember, Martin Luther King died in the 60s. We in 2026. That's not really that far ago. Like, really think about that. Really think about that. In the 60s, somewhere in the 60s is when women had their first time to really, like, vote for real. When I think of the women from the 60s, I think of my mom. My mom was born in 58. My father was born in 52. So I'm a whole generation away from being in that time. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? I'm born in 84. I got no problem telling my age. I'm 42. I just turned 42. I was born in the crack epidemic. So the fact that we don't know our history and our people, but we know the latest TikTok dance only because it's the latest. But what are we doing as a people in finding out the truth of who we are? And this is not like a preaching moment, but you have to know who the hell you are. How do we consider, like, say for example, we can't even get right Black History Month. We can't even get that right. We don't even understand why Black History Month is in the month of February. We don't even understand that. We don't even take the time out to really celebrate these people and their greatness, not only when they're here, but even when they're gone. And to me, our culture is so rich that you can't tell me to celebrate my culture in the month of February. That's why I'm not in favor of Black History Month. I celebrate the culture all year long. You can't tell me who to celebrate and when to celebrate for my culture. My culture is so vast, so popping, so lit. You can't fit us in 28 days, partner. No. And you're not going to tell me who's important. Because these people are direct reflections of us. They've been through the things that we've been through and they made it better for us. That's why it's important for Jay-Z to do what he's doing. And other artists like Jay-Z. It's important for certain politicians to do what they're doing in their space because they make it easier for the next politician and so on and so forth. And everybody does their thing. Everybody does their thing. That's one of the things that I love about the 60s that I hate about now. Politicians was politicians. People that fought. We didn't rely on entertainers and actors and athletes to be the politicians. Yeah, they fall in line when they're supposed to fall in line, but what Dave Chappelle say? Yeah, when things happen, I ain't looking for Ja Rule to give me something like to make sense of this. And again, I'm not picking on Ja Rule, but Dave Chappelle made a joke years ago. Basically, when things happen in our culture, that we look to athletes and artists to basically lead us. No, everybody has a role. The activists lead us. The politicians do their politician work. And everybody do their work and everybody else fall in line. That's one of the things I loved about the 60s. But the fact that we don't know these people by face as a culture, especially our younger culture, that is a big disservice moving forward, because if our young people now don't know who these people are, what do you think the next era is going to be? It gets diluted. It gets diluted is the point that I'm making. If we don't know who the hell these people are now, how do you expect our people now to teach the younger people after? So our people continuously to get lost in translation when people are the main progenitors of how we live today. Peanuts and light bulbs and all types of different inventions and the way we move in life and politics and right to vote and all these different type of things. The right to seek a just life and the finances. Same thing with Martin Luther King. People thought Martin Luther King was executed because of his political views. No, he started to go after that money. When he started going after that money, yeah, it's time to get him up out of here. Do your research. It wasn't because he was speaking on the betterment of all men. No. He been talking like that. That's the Reverend. He's supposed to speak like that. That doesn't shake up the way of life in the USA. No, he talking about the money. Pack him up. We got to know our history, y'all. And it's not necessarily us as the older crowd. Is that we got to make sure that our children who are grown, little brothers, nieces, nephews, our younger kids know what's going on. Period, point blank. Shout out to y'all in the chat, going crazy in the chat. Shout out to Keyshaw. Remember the legendary footage of them working on 999 back in the day. Jay-Z, 99 Problems, 2003. Oh, you talking about the Jay-Z documentary? Yes. Shout out to Nate. Noah sung the Jubilees in the 1940s. Has rap beat to it. Okay. Okay, shout out to that. But rap wasn't a genre back in the 1940s. The CC Ash, I heard some East Coast clubs in the 90s refusing to play West Coast rap because they said it doesn't rhyme and it doesn't sound right. Did they really think that was just beef at the time? Now, that's not a fact. That's not a fact. That's not a fact. Well, in the 90s, I was a little kid, so I wasn't in the clubs, but based on what my brother was telling me, my brother brought home Doggy Style album. That's a West Coast rapper. He brought home NWA albums. He brought home Ice Cube albums. So the fact that they're not playing in the club, what they don't realize in New York City, they don't play rap in New York City clubs. They play house music and they play reggae. So when you get a little rap, you're going to get a little rap. But when you play a little rap in New York City, the party gets rowdy. When you play reggae, you play house, you know what I'm saying? It's cool. Everything is cool. You want that energy cool. You know what I'm saying? So that has more to do with that, not West Coast in itself. So that's what I'm saying. It's not no beef or nothing like that. Nate, photo rap genre 1935, 62 led to hip hop, then beatbox rap, then the modern rap. I get where you're going with Nate. I get where you're going with it, with the information that you clearly done the research to, right? But rap wasn't recognized as a genre until late 70s, early 80s. It wasn't fully recognized because even rappers, the rap music, the production was still very jazz based. So I get what you're saying because there's a difference between jazz and bebop, right? But it all is around in the same type of genre. They like to generalize it all as one thing. So I get what you're saying, but officially, because when rap really took off and got commercialized at that time, a lot of the main management and owners wasn't jacking rap. They didn't even think rap would be around. They thought rap was literally for the ghetto kids in the ghetto back in the Bronx and Brooklyn. So I get the point that you're making as far as the actual research, but the actual genre being recognizable. If you did rap back in 1935 to 1962, it wasn't heavily recognizable. It was independent. It's not something that people was on the top 40 for at that time. But I appreciate you, man. I love that because you clearly done your research, Nate. You clearly done your research. Shout out to CC. They played West Coast music in New York City clubs. That's fake news. Shout out to Patrick. He said that's fake news. Patrick, I had a feeling that was fake. That was fake a lot. Yeah, like New York City's type of place that just love great music. We love great music, but in the New York City club, the average New York City club, you're gonna hear reggae. Whether it's, there's different forms of reggae. There's soca, there's traditional reggae, there's dancehall. You're gonna hear reggae in New York City clubs, and you're gonna hear dance music. The only rap you're gonna hear really in New York City is really anthems, right? You're gonna hear a run of DMX, you're gonna hear a run of Biggie, you're gonna hear a run of Jay-Z, you might hear a run of Nas, you're gonna hear a run of some Bad Boy with I said Biggie, but you're gonna hear some run of Bad Boy. You might hear one, I won't say might, you're gonna hear a run of 50 Cent. Like, you know what I'm saying? So that's how rap is in New York City. But we definitely play West Coast music, but it's not the main progenitor. So I agree with Pat. I agree with Patrick. That's fake news for sure. All right, y'all. Moving on to our next hot topic in Time to Rap. The NFL officially has ended the Pro Bowl games. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Again, let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. The NFL has officially ended the Pro Bowl games. Again, let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Again, I'm Ashley Lovechild. It's the first time tuning in, tapping in. This is episode 287. I'm on live every Wednesday and every Sunday. Appreciate y'all for y'all support. We're on the road to 20,000 subscribers. We're a little over 14. I would love to get to that 100,000 mark, get that nice little YouTube plaque in the background with y'all support, and I appreciate y'all as always. Shout out to my dog. I'm going to call you my dog Nate. That's my dog Nate. I celebrate special needs history, so the history of the institutionalized mental hospitals never comes back. Clubs historically in New York City always played danceable music. Yes, that's a fact. Clubs historically in New York City always played danceable music. That's a fact. Pro Bowl. Yo, shout out to Patrick. He said, yo, Pro Bowls are trash. I'm glad they ended. Yo, don't forget to hit them hearts, y'all. Hit them 100s. It helps with the growth of the show, and I appreciate it each and every time. And also, make sure y'all tap into the new documentaries. I'm releasing my new album, The Adventures of Don Pierre, and I'm releasing background footage, the day 1, day 2, day 3, you know what I'm saying? So it's, background footage of it. So make sure y'all tap into it. Make sure y'all subscribe, and make sure y'all take advantage of the membership portion. If you are a full member of the pod, you will also get a membership with the OUV Records app, where it exclusively going to have OUV Records music, not just for myself, but all the OUV Records artists. So if you have a membership, it goes to that membership as well too. And if you also have a membership, new music you're going to have exclusively as well on YouTube as well too. So those are going to be the only two places where you get new music from me and any other artists on OUV Records. So if you are a member, you're going to have that within your stuff, so you see new music and nobody else is going to hear on YouTube at all. But you're also going to have access to the OUV Records app as well too. So be on the lookout for that. But yeah, me personally, I kind of hate it and get it at the same time. I get it for the standpoint that the Pro Bowl has been absolutely dog shit for like the last decade at least. It's been absolute dog shit. You have to pay players to play hard. You have to pay players to be enthused in the game, to make a goddamn tackle, and to play with some sort of pride. So I get the aspect on why they got rid of the Pro Bowl game. And I'm not mad at it, but I'm mad at it because, again, the nostalgia. Again, when I was a kid, the Pro Bowl was popping. The Pro Bowl was serious. It mattered when you got on the field and you said, yo, I'm better than you. I'm better than you. I'm stronger than you. I'm faster than you. Even though we at the Pro Bowl, bro, you had a good year, but you can't fuck with me, dog. It used to be a beautiful thing to watch Jerry Rice, Deion Sanders, Michael Irvin, Troy Aikman, Steve Young, Barry Sanders, Emmitt Smith, all on the same team. And who are they going against? Oh, Rod Woodson, Derek Thomas, Leslie O'Neal, Junior Seau, Dan Marino. I'm going just off the top of my head here. And they would go hammies. Hammies. Hey, Rice, yeah, you're good. Yeah, you're good. Hey, this guy, Andre Rison, he's nice. He played for the Buffalo Bills. Tim Brown. Hey, that guy nice. He might be better than you. He might be. We're gonna play this Pro Bowl to figure this out. And if you ever watch those players that I mentioned when they played in the Pro Bowl, they turned up. Jerry Rice ain't never get to the Pro Bowl and be like, yeah, I'm in the Pro Bowl. I ain't really trying to give it to you. You know what I'm saying? I made it. Nah, you got Rod Woodson over there? Have him line up on me. I'm busting his ass all game. Oh, you got Junior Seau over there? Barry Sanders like, yo, he not tackling me. I guarantee you I'm going to juke him out his shoes. Oh, you got Bruce Smith over there? Oh, all right, we got somebody for him. Let's get one of these San Fran or Dallas Cowboys left tackles over there. It used to be a pride thing, bro, and we love to see it, and we love the competitiveness of those games. And that's where the nostalgia is so heartbreaking, because those players really used to go at it, and we had some really good players at that time, just like we got now. But it's just so disappointing that the players don't have a personal vendetta on being the best. The only reason why the NBA All-Star game was good this past year, because one of the very best players in the NBA said, yo, I'm just letting y'all know, when we get on this court, it's up. Victor Wembanyama said, yo, when we get on this court, it's up. Anthony Edwards said, oh yeah? Oh, so you playing. Cool, say less. And we've seen the best NBA All-Star game than we've seen probably since the mid-2000s. Since the mid-2000s, it was popping. When are we going to get those NFL guys who are not just great, but competitive? Let's say, like, yeah, we get to this Pro Bowl game, I'm busting your ass. Like, you can't block me, or you can't tackle me, or you can't catch the ball on me, or you can't guard me out here. What happened to those type of players? What happened? So I'm caught in the nostalgia of that, y'all. I'm not even going to lie to you. I just think it's kind of criminal that we no longer going to have it, but I understand it, because now, like, they don't even play tackle football. They play two-hand touch. Not even two-hand touch. They play, oh my God, they play flag football now. Flag football. And then you get guys opting out of the Pro Bowl. They had the Pro Bowl before the Super Bowl, which is super ass on top of that, because we want to see the guys who made it to the Super Bowl playing that Pro Bowl game too. So I get it. I don't like it. I'm not going to lie to y'all. I'm not going to lie to y'all. I'm going to keep it a buck with y'all. I don't like it. Shout out to Patrick. It's just me, or do more NFL players get hurt nowadays? I don't remember star players back in the day who even got hurt like that. I'm going to tell you why they get hurt more often. I'm going to tell you why. The reason why they get hurt more often now is mainly because of leg injuries, right? Something in their legs, right? And the reason why they get hurt more in their legs is because, one, they don't like wearing the required pads. And number two, you get a lot of players that wear a lot of low-cut cleats now. They get a lot of low-cut cleats. So what people don't realize, when players used to play in those mid or high-top cleats, we didn't have, when a player got an Achilles tear back in the day, it was like, what? You got you got an Achilles tear? Like, we didn't get Achilles tear so crazy that a lot of the doctors didn't even know how to treat it for real back in. Like, once you got Achilles heel back in the day, your career was over. Now it's like, yo, you get Achilles tear, you'll be back like within a year. You might be your full self in a year and a half, maybe 2 years, but you could play again. But a lot of players, they wear a lot of low cut cleats. Even though they taped up, that's still not enough. Back in the day, you got taped up, you wore the brace, you got the socks, and you wore mid to high top cleats. And that used to alleviate all type of high ankles and Achilles, and it helped preserve the rest of the leg much easier. And because we wore big pads too. When I was a kid, I got a picture right now when I was 11 years old when it looked like Bibles and my thigh pads. You know what I'm saying? So you see more that a lot of the players don't like to wear the required equipment, or they like to wear small equipment, right? So that's why you're seeing way more injuries now than you've ever seen before. Shout out to Keith. So finally, the NFL made the right call. The Pro Bowl has been unwatchable for a decade. I said that too. Nobody wants to watch millionaires play two-hand touching pads. Yo, that is crazy. I seen a little league football league. I seen a little league football league that was literally playing and I didn't understand the meaning of it. They had on the flag football stuff, but they had shoulder pads and helmets on. It's like, yo, what are we doing? What are we doing? Like, yeah, yo, that was nasty work. Pro Bowls are trash. I'm glad they ended this. Okay, so I got that. Let me ping that. Like I said, I'll be forgetting to ping some of y'all comments throughout the pod. So yeah, I agree. Like I said, I understand why they're getting rid of the Pro Bowl. I just hate it. I just hate it because it could be such a great product. And mind you, again, back in the 90s, they used to have events. They used to have like the fastest man, where the guys that we think is the fastest, they would actually race. Like they showed Rod Woodson race Herschel Walker, and Rod Woodson won. And Herschel Walker is known to be super duper fast, but Rod Woodson won, right? So they used to have these fights. The only person Rod Woodson lost to was Darryl Green. So they used to have these competitions, not just running. They used to have benching competitions. You know, obviously they used to have the quarterback competitions. Like it used to be super duper lit, man. So it's very heartbreaking that they don't continue that tradition. And the NFL is a place where I would think they take heed on what the fans think, because we patron the sport. We want to see it. But if you can't get the players to really show up and show out, then, you know, again, I get that too. So, again, I understand it, but I'm kind of low-key tight about that. All right, y'all, moving on to our next segment, our Keep the Lie Alive segment. So my Keep the Lie Alive for this episode is: everything has a motive. Everything has a motive. So what has been dominating in media space for the past couple days, actress Soraya, if I'm saying her name right. She's mostly known for being on the show. Oh my God, what's the show with Terrence Howard and the three sons? Empire. She's mostly known for being on Empire. She played Hakeem's girlfriend. She was engaged to Joey Badass, and she just recently broke off the engagement publicly. Made a public post on his infidelities, and that's the reason why she's breaking up with him. The fact that she's basically saying he wanted to be with her, he courted her, he wanted a life with her, and she basically uprooted her life to be with him, and now she catches him cheating, so basically he's a fraud. Everything has a motive. She took to social media of her heartbreak is motive related. The reason why it's motive related is because what is the purpose of doing that? You're doing that because you're hurt, obviously, and you want to hurt his reputation. But I don't think most people understand the game. This won't hurt his reputation. It hurts people's reputation a little bit when they live a certain way and they say another thing. But we've heard Joey Badass speak on him wanting a multifaceted romantic relationship with his women. Now, he may have changed his mind in the throes of y'all relationship, and he has every right to change his mind. But going public with information that the world is already privy to based on how he perceives the lifestyle that he wants, it's not going to hurt his reputation. We also live in a world today when going public with something still does not hurt people's reputation. It may make people aware, but it won't make people stop messing with somebody because they cheated. This is 2026. You think people stop supporting people because they cheated? Both man and woman, you still see people supporting Remy Ma, and she was known to be the cheater of the relationship and known to have an outside relationship out of her marriage before Papoose, and people still supported her. So now we have a man who's been known to say that he wants more than one woman. He may have changed his mind being with you in the confines of your own relationship, cool. But now releasing that information, it doesn't change people's perception of him. But it's that mindset is like you're feeling hurt and now you want to burn the house down because you're hurt. And I'm not saying you don't have the right to feel hurt. But if you're hurt, why share it with the rest of the world? This doesn't benefit the way you think it's benefiting. This won't hurt him and benefit you in no type of way. By you going public, you're now basically saying that your value has now been decreased. Simple and plain. Because you have a child with this man. And most times when women have children with a man, they're not going to be regarded as high. And I'm not talking about exceptions to the rule. That's why they are exceptions. But more than likely, nobody else will ever take you as serious as Joey Badass. You're better off piecing it together with him, because he's going to take you serious even if he has an outside woman. You still be held in higher regard, understanding the parameters of your relationship, because in the eyes of the rest of the world, being the fact that he married you or would marry you and have a child by you, that means he's validating you and he's upholding the value that he sees in you, even if he has another woman. I don't know why we live in 2026 and some women still believe that one woman, if your man has an appetite for more than one woman, you're going to save that or curb that, even if he told you that shit. Even if he told you that shit. So what do that mean? That means the world sees more value in you by staying and sticking by his side, even if he has somebody else. That's just the world we live in. What is the likelihood of you meeting another man, him taking you serious, accepting your child, even though you're still going to have to co-parent with Joey Badass, and for him to take you serious? The chances are slim. It's slim. Point blank, period. So it was intentional for you to put this information out there for him to look bad, but it's not going to make him look bad because, one, he's a man. Two, there's way more women in the world than there's men. And because of that, you're going to see value in men. Our value increases as we get older and conquer the world. What do that mean, Ash? That means the more money that we make, the more that we take care of ourselves, we're always going to be able to find a woman. I live in Florida. I went to the store earlier today. I saw a homeless man. Walking beside him was a homeless woman. So no matter where you at in life, you're always going to be able to find what? A woman. No matter what stage are you at as a man, you're always going to be able to find a woman. If you're a struggling man, you're going to be able to find a struggling woman. If you're in the middle man, you're always going to be able to find an in the middle woman. If you are getting that gudata, you get whatever you want. We talked about Jed York earlier, where he was a billionaire for the 49ers. He's like, yeah, I don't care about the top tier. I'd rather go to the, the 140 spot in East Palestine, Ohio. But we always going to be able to find a woman. The only thing that hurts a man's reputation as a man in finding a partner is if he is a pedophile. That's the only thing that hurts him. If he's a pedo, then all bets is off. But if he's a man that likes women, regardless if he's a cheater, he's always going to be able to find a woman. So that doesn't work in the same way for women as it does for men. So this was done intentionally. This was done with motives. If you're truly hurt, I understand it. But why share that shit with the whole world? Why? The whole world didn't need to know that you and Joey Badass was even broken up. But you're letting the whole world know is because you're putting yourself back on the market. And you don't want to look stupid or people to say things about you when you show up with your new man who's not going to take you serious. When you show up with your new man who's not going to take you serious. So I don't get women's strategy when they feel like they're blowing up a man or they're letting it be known to the world. He talks about this and lives another way. Not when that man already spoke on living that type of way. It don't work the same way. So I don't understand the exposure of it. And then when women try to expose men, that lets the man know that he did the right thing. Because it should hurt you to hurt me. And if you ever was to hurt me, it's not on purpose. You did that with a purpose in mind. Even if you are hurt, and the fact that you're hurt, that makes you dangerous. Most people, when they hurt and they act, we have shows like For My Man, Fatal Attraction, Law and Order. We got all types of shows based on real life situations where people are hurt. Maybe not Law and Order, but y'all get the point that I'm making. When people are hurt in their feelings through relationship situations and they move drastically, people end up unalive. People end up going to jail. People ended up losing money and opportunity. It won't work the way you think it's going to work. So that's my Keep the Lie Alive for this episode. Shout out to the chat. CC, Patrick Rule. Hello, Patrick. Hello. What Patrick say is it's not just me. Or not. Okay, so I did get that. CC, Patrick, rule changes and players probably don't practice as hard as they did back then. Teams want to win, and the number one priority is to keep the players healthy. Yeah, teams don't want to win, but I get the point that you're making. But these teams don't want to win. These teams don't want to win. Shout out to my dog CC, but these teams don't want to win. I said why they don't want to win. And when I spoke about the Dallas when I talked about the Miami Dolphins, their dead cap is 179 million. 7 out of their 8 highest players is not even on the team. And other NFL teams hide not winning better than other teams. They get quarterbacks that can't play. They get offensive line guys that can't block. Tell you. But I get the point that you're making, though. I get the point that you're making. But that's my Keep the Lie Alive for this episode. I appreciate y'all for tuning and tapping in. Again, I'm Ashley Lovechild, Can the Brothers Get a Rap podcast. I'm live every Wednesday and every Sunday, and these days are flying by. I'm telling you, the next time I'm going to pull up live is Wednesday, and it's going to be here before you know it. I guarantee it. It happens every week. I'm like, yo, it's Sunday already? It's Wednesday already? And it's going to be here before you know it. I appreciate y'all support genuinely for the bottom of my heart. The show continues to grow each and every episode. We're on the road to 20,000 subscribers. We're a little over 14. The ultimate goal is to get to that 100,000. We get that big YouTube plaque. And again, continue to engage in the videos. I do drop videos daily, so continue to engage. I do see y'all comments, and I appreciate it as always. If you want to engage with me outside of YouTube, just type in Ashley Lovechild. Everything will pop up. The music, the social media. I'm easy to find. So again, I appreciate y'all support each and every time. I want to thank the presenting sponsor of this podcast, which is Button Snaps. Again, where you get the finest of movies, shows, documentaries, and original content for your viewing pleasure of $4.99. I also want to thank OUV Records. Be on the lookout for that new OUV Records app. It's going to change the music business altogether, and I appreciate y'all support as always. I feel like I'm missing something else. So remember, y'all, shout out to the chat. Big shout out to the chat. Big shout out to the chat. Big shout out to the chat. Remember, y'all, share, tell a friend, bring another friend back. You know we love to have these conversations. Stay engaged. Even if y'all disagree with me, I just love having the back and forth, especially when you saying things that make sense and logical. We had one of the new dudes in the chat who was on point with his information as well. You know what I mean? And I appreciated him as well. So shout out to the chat. Shout out to my dogs, Cece, Pat, Keesaw, Tom. That was one of the new guys, Nate. Appreciate Nate for tapping in. Remember, y'all, hit them likes, hit them 100s. It helps with the growth of the show. Shout out to Jimmy. I'm not gonna say every single person, but shout out to y'all that was super engaging in the chat. I appreciate y'all as always. And remember to share and tell another friend to tap in. And we have a good time and enjoy these conversations. We speak about everything. Viral moments, entertainment, music, the real conversation, social commentary. We speak about it all here on this platform. Also, that's the last thing. Remember, y'all, do not be an agent of chaos. Do not be a stain. A stain is somebody that try to stand out by being negative. Have the ability to stand out by being positive. Lose that Willie Lynch mindset. Lose that it can only be one mindset. The only op we recognize over here is opportunity. We realize hate has a location. It's just not here. We celebrate life culture. I have to say that again for the people in the back. We celebrate life culture. There's too much death in our culture. We love the death. We love the guns. We love to rob. We love to finesse and steal and scam. We celebrate life culture. I'm about life culture. My music is about life culture. My message is about life culture. And I appreciate y'all each and every episode. Again, y'all already know, man, it's love. And I'm going to see y'all again live this Sunday at 10:30. And remember, tap into the new documentary of my new album, The Adventures of Don Pierre. Episode 1 is released right now, so make sure y'all tap in. I'm going to see y'all soon. And again, shout out to the chat. My dog, Cece, asked, can we agree that the Miami Dolphins sound like a soft-ass tea? Man, the Miami Dolphins is terrible, bro. They terrible. I agree with that. They terrible. They're terrible. And they don't have to be, but they choosing to be sorry. They choosing to be. If they hire somebody that's competent, they don't have to be a sorry franchise. But like I told y'all before, it's about that money. But again, I'm going to see y'all this Sunday at 10:30. Y'all already know it's love, and I'm out this piece. Make sure y'all hit them hearts and them 100s on your way out, please. I'm out.